Well, so far we haven't seen any significant pieces get ripped down yet, but I can tell you this thing is getting absolutely hammered by the waves. Take a look. We've got one of our big lights shining on there so you can see it as about as good as you can at this time of night. These waves are only getting bigger. For reference, that pier is about 20 feet tall. These waves are going almost to the top of it, and we're not even close to high tide yet. The waves really coming up all the way above the beach, almost to where the sidewalk and road is. So you can imagine as the tide continues to get higher, we're only going to see these waves start to splash onto the road. We've seen it even come up onto the sidewalk so far. We're seeing all kinds of things wash up, rocks that look like they're coming from the ocean. You can even see the foam from the shoreline getting blown around by the wind as it comes up. And, you know, this extreme surf is causing problems all up and down A1A. Part of it just south of us is closed because of erosion that happened a lot during Hurricane Ian, washing out that sand and rock. There is a detour for it right now. A little bit further west of us on those streets along the intercoastal, some are already flooded and shut down now. We stopped by a community just north of us where flooding was already happening. People there telling us they're sticking out the storm. Now, I have had the chance to talk to some police officers that are sitting out here. They're making sure nobody goes out on that pier. It's been closed since Hurricane Ian did so much damage to it. Now, right now, the big question is, will tonight's storm finish off that pier? We're told they even saw a couple people trying to go out on the beach going swimming. They yell at them, get them off really quickly, because obviously this is extremely dangerous. We haven't seen anyone in a while, but a lot of people just walking down to the sidewalk where we're standing just to get a look at this ocean. It's just ferocious right now. All you can see is white. I'll show you again. These waves just won't quit, and it will continue to get worse as the night progresses and as the storm gets closer. Reporting live in Flagler Beach, Connor Hansen, Fox 35 News.
Almost 20-foot waves already.
And you can see the water going up the steps throughout the night.
It's going to keep going up. Connor, thank you much. Well, it looks like Hurricane Nicole could make landfall somewhere in Indian River County. And Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell is live in Vero Beach tonight.
So, Brandy, what's it like where you are?
Well, I tell you, the winds have been consistent here all day, really. And then as it got later, once the sun went down, they got stronger. Our Fox Weather app says there are about 33-mile-per-hour winds here in this area. The rain, about 2 hours ago, it's been consistent since then. We've been lucky pretty much for most of the day getting scattered showers, but now it's just very consistent. And the ocean, I mean, really the showstopper so far as Nicole gets to our location. I mean, the waves behind us, they've been very big. And right before you guys came to me, we actually just had a good amount of it splash in front of me. So water starting to make its way on land. I just saw a crab walk across behind me. I guess the wave brought up the crab as well. So it just went into the bushes. But a lot of people are not out. That's the good thing. We've been seeing people spectate all day, taking a look at the water. Now it's more quiet. I'm not going to say I haven't seen anybody as night has fallen. I just saw some people about an hour ago at another area where we were, but it does seem to be people are taking shelter. Obviously, they probably don't want to get wet. No one wants to get wet in the rain, but the conditions out here, I'll just say they are progressing as Nicole gets closer to us, and we will be keeping an eye on these conditions here. Guys?
Brandy, thank you. Well, many tourists who could not get out in time because the airport's all shut down are still here in Central Florida riding out the storm.
And we've heard from some of them already. Fox 35's Jessica Ely talked to more of them.
Yeah, here on I-Drive, this area is usually bustling with tourists, but as you can see, there is barely anyone out here right now. It's because of Tropical Storm Nicole. We spoke to a handful of the families that were out here on vacation, and they say that they were disappointed with this weather. They knew that Tropical Storm Nicole was coming, but they still decided to come, and they're out here trying to have a good time.
We arrived Sunday, and the rest of the family arrived yesterday, Tuesday, and the weather, as soon as they got here, is like not a good thing. So we were very unhappy. It's like we're stuck inside, and we're like, we need to do the best we can with what we have. So we're out here just shopping around. But we really wanted to do Disney. We anticipated this happening because we looked while we were in New York, we looked at the weather, and we're like, well, we already booked the week there, so we might as well make the best. And we do need the time off, so it's kind of like forcing us to get the rest that we need.
Shopping
Yes.
around,
Eating
walking
out.
around, eating out, and relaxing.
It's her birthday and it's our first vacation ever, so it's kind of sucks. We were looking forward to the beach. We went to Universal yesterday. We were supposed to do Disney. What else? I don't know what else. The beach.
So a couple of those families that we spoke with say that they have enjoyed some of the park so far, but they cannot wait until they open back up in a couple days. From my drive, Jessica Ely, Fox 35 News.
All right, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner joining us now.
So, Brooks, we're going to get another updated track in about 30 minutes or so. What are you seeing right now?
Well, this is definitely making its way in our direction. It's going to make landfall as it currently stands, likely a Cat 1. The latest track has it going northwest at about 13 miles per hour. So with the new cone coming out inside of the next half an hour, we're likely going to see this nudge a little bit farther north, perhaps. We'll see. Regardless of whether it makes a landfall in Brevard County or down in Indian River County, the impacts will be much the same. We're going to see this making landfall in the middle of the night and then by the middle of the afternoon making its way out of the region. So it'll be a hurricane for tomorrow morning for most of central Florida. Short fuse, but high intensity with wind gusts over 75, maybe 80 miles an hour possible in Orange and Osceola counties, maybe even over 75 miles per hour in Seminole County. And I'm mentioning those inland counties because, of course, we've been talking about the coastline and all the impacts there. That goes without saying. They're going to have some big wind gusts. They've been seeing routinely wind gusts between about 40 and 50 miles an hour. The center of Hurricane Nicole is right here now west of Freeport. Essentially in the eye, Freeport's catching lighter winds, but those are going to pick up again. And as these outer bands roll in, we're going to have gusts of wind that exceed 85, maybe up to 90 miles an hour in places like Brevard County. Now, let's talk about the storm surge, because with all that wind pushing on shore, we're going to see tides rising 5 feet above where they normally would. We're getting a high tide right now. The next high tide's at about 9 tomorrow morning. And with all the big waves and that big surge, plus astronomically higher tides, setting them another foot or two higher than they normally would, we're going to see a lot of this happening around the region, unfortunately leading to what could be some devastation along the coastline. And by far, with Hurricane Nicole, the legacy of this storm will be the devastation it leaves behind in some of these beach communities, thanks to all that storm surge and all of that wind. You remember Hurricane Ian? How could you forget? A month and a half ago. That was all about the inland flooding thanks to the nearly 20 inches of rain. This one's going to cause a lot of power outages as it slams ashore, but by far most of the really bad stuff, really bad damage will be along the coastline. That said, tomorrow morning around about sunrise or shortly there before, we're going to see winds that could gust over 75, maybe 80 miles an hour in Orlando before this exits the region. Back to you.
Brooks, thank you. And Fox 35 is staying live throughout the night to keep you informed and safe. Our special coverage of Hurricane Nicole continues right after a quick break.
We'll be right back.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free. Like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free Monsters, free Bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer. So let's see some hustle.
Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150-plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
I was adopted as a child, and that experience taught me that my life is not defined by the people who walked away. My life is defined by the people who love me enough to stay. Why is it that we give our best words and our best ideas to our enemies? Why don't we celebrate our friends more, the people that loved us and stayed with us anyhow? My advice to everybody every single day is celebrate the people who stuck around, because those are the people who deserve the best of your ideas, the best of your heart, the best of your sentences, because they loved you.
Want better brain health? Try these foods. Researchers say the best brain foods include green leafy veggies, fatty fish thanks to their omega-3 fatty acids, berries packed with flavonoids, tea and coffee, and even walnuts, consumption of which has been shown to lead to higher memory on test scores. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Dear Santa, know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Welcome back. Wilbur by the Sea, which is right near Daytona Beach in Volusia County, was getting pounded earlier today by Hurricane Nicole. Take a look at this house right here. You can see that there's a pretty good chance that it's going to end up right in the ocean. Fox 35's Vicky Carr was in Wilbur by the Sea today.
And people there are supposed to leave, but they tell Vicky they're not going anywhere.
I'm at a home in Wilbur by the Sea, and I want to show you what the backyard looks like here. You can see the ocean has swallowed up the entire backyard. I was talking to the property managers here, and they tell me that Ian took a chunk of this, and now this morning, Tropical Storm Nicole took the rest of it. Right now, they're in the process of removing everything from inside of the home. The homeowner has evacuated. The property managers are here with their staff, removing as much of the stuff inside of the home that they can. Take a listen to what they said.
When we were here yesterday, there was 30 feet more of the backyard, but it was collapsing as we were moving him out today. So we've pushed everything back just to do what we can.
Take another look here at the backyard, just how dramatic this is. And they told me a lot of this happened this morning. They tell me it's been scarier as the day goes on. So again, they're trying to get everything out of the home. I asked them if they think all of the people that live here in this area, this is Wilbur by the Sea, have evacuated, and they said they sure hope so. Reporting in Wilbur by the Sea, Vicky Carr, Fox 35 News.
All right, and we, of course, want to continue to monitor Hurricane Nicole as it makes landfall. Let's get over to Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Gardner rushing into the Weather Center right now.
Wind gusts is what he has pulled up right now because it is getting really windy, Brooks, especially along the coastline.
It really is, Luann and Ray. And you got it. Yeah, in fact, we've got winds now that are gusting well past 50 miles an hour, approaching 60 miles an hour here in Titusville. And as the outer bands of Nicole, which are currently located about 50 miles offshore, make it ashore, we're going to start to see those wind gusts surpassing 70 miles an hour in pretty short order. So we've been talking about this all night. Conditions will rapidly deteriorate as the night continues. We've just gotten through a high tide at 8:30, low tides at 2:30. Coming up this morning, and then there's another high tide tomorrow close to 9 a.m. So with this relentless onslaught of a northeast wind and the high tides and the astronomical high tides and a 5-foot storm surge, we're going to see a lot of saltwater intrusion pushing ashore, flooding the coastline, and that's going to be the big legacy with Nicole, the major coastal erosion. That said, as it comes ashore, we're going to see wind gusts that could approach 88 miles an hour, according to our exclusive Fox model. This was very accurate during Ian, and it's proving very accurate during Nicole. An 88-mile-per-hour gust will knock out power in a lot of communities. 65 to 70-mile-per-hour gusts will be routine, all the way into Orlando and Kissimmee. The landfall expected to happen around 1, 2 a.m. As far as where it goes from there, it's going to rush westward through the Kissimmee area, possibly as early as 5 or 6 a.m. And it's not the center that we got to worry about. It's the outer bands, the eye wall, if you will, that's going to be just north of this area to watch. And so at 5 a.m., we could be catching wind gusts of 70 miles an hour. Remember, it's still nighttime at that hour. The sun has not yet risen, so it's going to be dark. It's going to be howling overnight tonight. It may be tough for a lot of us to sleep tonight. So just a heads up, in inland locations, prepare for power outages that could last for the better part of the day tomorrow, or even into Friday. Now, this is a quick hitter. It's going to come in about 1, 2 in the morning and then exit the Gulf Coast over in maybe Hernando County, Citrus County, round about midday, maybe noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That said, we're still going to be in the really gusty winds through about that hour. It won't be until after lunch that winds start to slacken off significantly. Meanwhile, for our sister station viewers up here in WOGX country, Fox 51, it's going to be blowing 60-mile-an-hour winds up at Cedar Key. There could even be a storm surge there of between 2 and 4 feet. So heads up. The Fox model has been very good as far as forecasting these winds, the location of the low, and generally what to expect. Another tool we use with the Fox model is the future radar. And this is a good way to get an idea of where our most likely area of gusty winds will be. It's not just plotting a bunch of numbers on a map and saying, hey, it's going to do this at this time and it's going to do that at this time. This is a way where we can kind of use our human skills, right, to look at what's going on and then from there deduce where the worst could be. At 1 a.m., if indeed the center of Hurricane Nicole is making a landfall, maybe in St. Lucie County or maybe up into Indian River County, or continuing its trek northwestward, working toward Brevard County, it's this eye wall right here, the north and northwest eye wall, that's going to pack the biggest punch, where right in that corner of Mico and Grant, Valcaria and Palm Bay and all the little communities here in southern Brevard County, you guys are going to be taking the brunt of this right on the chin, and it's going to howl out there for a good portion of the night. And all the while, we've got these big tides coming in. We've got all the storm surge. That's where the max coastal inundation will happen. Inundation, the flooding, all of that stuff. And then by 6 a.m., as that center works up toward Osceola County, the eye wall will include northern Osceola County, including St. Cloud, Kissimmee, little towns there around Lake Toho, and downtown Orlando, and the attractions, Four Corners, Champions Gate. You guys are going to have a power outage possibility, if not guarantee, before finally this pushes out. Now, these are big winds where the hurricane itself is structured in a very tight configuration, but the tropical storm force winds go out hundreds of miles. So this is a big wind maker. I think it's important to caution that we shouldn't obsess exactly where the eye is going to go, because the impacts are so far reaching. And beyond the impacts inland, which will include between 3 and 6 inches of rain, all the wind, even a tornado threat, by and large, most of the damage is going to be damage found along the immediate coast. Now, here's a look at the latest Fox model on the future rain. This is additional rainfall, 2 to 4 inches. That's good news, because with Ian, we were seeing more like 15 to 20 inches. So this will not be an Ian in that context, but a lot of places that only got a glancing blow during Ian are going to get the full brunt of Nicole. All right, more weather to follow. Ray and Luann, back to you.
All right, Brooks, thank you so much. Our special coverage of Hurricane Nicole continues after the break.
We'll be right back.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense to reduce your spending. Think about items you want in terms of hours worked. Want a $200 pair of shoes and you make $30 an hour? It'll cost you 7 hours of work. Save up for something you want, like a trip or a car. Name your savings account, something that makes you feel an emotion, like family trip to Hawaii, and use direct deposit so you save every time you get paid.
Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs Plus Lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs Indeed, America's #1 lotion tissue. Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs Plus Lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs Indeed, America's #1 lotion tissue.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. You seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Welcome back. Mandatory evacuations are in effect right now in Flagler and Volusia counties. Flagler's order went into effect at 3:30 this afternoon, and Volusia wanted everyone east of the Intercoastal to be out by 4 p.m. And take a look at this video. This is why officials are so concerned, and they want everyone off the coast. A beachfront home there is crumbling into the ocean.
And several condo buildings are now being evacuated. We've been watching that throughout the night. Fox 35's Valerie Boyd joins us live from Daytona Beach shores. And Valerie, the sheriff actually warned that it's not a matter of if, but when buildings will collapse.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. In fact, right now I am at the Pirates Cove condominium where this building was evacuated earlier today. I just want to show you out here by A1A. Look how desolate it is. It's real quiet. The wind is around 15, 20 miles per hour if you're out and about, but you shouldn't be. As I was saying earlier today, deputies evacuated this building here. They were going door to door telling everybody to get out because this building is unsafe. There's around 12 structures here in Daytona Beach Shores that have been deemed unsafe, and 22 in Wilbur by the Sea. Those are homes. We actually saw tractors out there trying to protect some of those homes by putting rocks in front of them to give them a more stable foundation. Of course, there is a mandatory evacuation, but we still did see a few people out and about as we were riding with sheriff's deputies earlier tonight in their homes. Deputies were hoping that more people would have evacuated here off the coast, but of course, many did not listen. Meanwhile, the curfew takes place till 7 o'clock in the morning here, and we're going to keep you updated with more information. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Valerie. Now, we're seeing the waves start to really swallow the pier over in Flagler County.
Absolutely. Fox 35's Connor Hansen is live in Flagler Beach. And Connor, earlier you were saying that pier is about 20 feet high, and the waves are nearly reaching the top of it.
That's right. The wave's absolutely huge. And just in the past few minutes, we've really seen the rain and wind ramp up, too. We'll show you a shot of that Flagler Beach sign, that kind of iconic looking building here right on the beach. Just to give you an idea, if you can see that rain just whipping past it, that's really ramped up, like I said, in the past 10 minutes or so. Now look at the pier. As you mentioned, Luann, that's about 20 feet tall, and you can see that huge wave rolling in right now. We've seen some even taller than that. So this surf just continues to build and build, and we're seeing the water coming all the way up, sometimes splashing up over this wall here onto the sidewalk, bringing debris and rocks and things like that. The really strange thing we've noticed is the foam on the shoreline right there. It's getting whipped up by the wind. We're seeing this foam getting tossed around. Now I checked with Brooks just to be sure. High tide here was actually at 8:30 at night, and it'll be going out until 2:30 in the morning, but it's really been hard to tell just because of how intense the surf has been just coming up here. It seems like it's been about the same in terms of how high it's coming up, if it's not coming up any higher. So we have noticed less people are coming down here to come check it out for a while there. A lot of people are coming just to look at the ocean. It's it's not surprising why. Luckily, none of them going any further that we've seen. I did get the chance to talk to some police officers saying they did actually get a call. Some people were trying to swim out there, so they promptly got them out of the water. And just to give you an idea of what the roads are like, I'll show you A1A here. That's where we're standing right now. We've not seen much traffic, which is good. Hopefully people staying home. The road, though, it's getting wet, and the visibility is getting poor because that rain is just getting whipped around. And a little bit further south of here, A1A actually closed at one point. There's a detour around it. They're worried, officials here are worried about the erosion caused after Hurricane Ian washing out sand and rocks underneath it. We've also had flooding on some of the roads on the intercoastal. That's actually happening before it happens on the ocean. We went to a community here just a little bit north of us that already has flooding coming up some of the homes, and they say they're staying and they're riding out the storm. But we're going to stay out here throughout the night, keeping an eye on things as this progresses. Reporting live in Flagler Beach, Connor Hansen, Fox 35 News.
All right, Connor, thank you. And, it's interesting to note that things haven't gotten so bad yet because they still have power there. And that's something that we're keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
Power outages are not a situation.
Well, the worst is yet to come. It's not going to make landfall till around 1 o'clock this morning. So we're hoping things stay pretty mellow, but that's probably not going to be the case.
Exactly. For more on that, let's turn to Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner and Ian Cassette.
Yeah, guys, it's not real bad right now, but what are we expecting in the hours to come?
Yeah, we're about 3 to 4 hours away from landfall, and Ian and I have been tracking the bands of rain wrapping around the eye and the eye wall, and that's where the business end of this hurricane will be. It's all been about the preamble until what's to come.
Yeah, we've had it's been a giant lead up to this, but we're about to see it really unfold throughout the course of the night. So we're gonna be busy here.
Yeah, I think the term deteriorating is going to be the word of the hour here for the next couple of hours. Let's get right to the nuts and bolts of this thing. We've got winds out here here that are creating some serious wave action from Bermuda all the way to Daytona. And typically with these hurricanes, they're a lot more consolidated, but this one is huge, geographically speaking, the footprint, the fetch, if you will, because it used to be a subtropical storm, so it had a much bigger wingspan. It was like an albatross of tropical systems. Now it's a sparrow, comparatively. It's a small system, but it still has that legacy of the large wingspan. So it's sending all of this wave action into the shore, all the storm surge potential. And so during times of high tide, the next one coming up at 9 a.m., we are really going to see a test of the wares of our coastline. Unfortunately, Ian, the hurricane in late September, wore away at our dunes, leaving little behind as far as defenses. So essentially, we've got an open wound up and down the coastline, just open for attack, and that's going to be the relentless onshore flow. Right now we're seeing winds gusting between 30 and 50 miles an hour, but the eye wall is still sitting offshore from our location a little over 100 miles. This is going to be the part where when this makes it onshore, it's going to start happening. We're looking at winds that could gust close to 90 miles per hour, and that happens inside of the next 6 hours. Here's the latest. Winds at 58 in Titusville, 40 in Daytona Beach. It's coming in waves, and it's also a lot higher in very local spots. You know, this isn't like the official for Titusville. You could be a mile down the road and catch a 70-mile-an-hour gust, and unless you have a sensor there, you'd never know it. So just keep in mind the potential there exists for some big gusts. We may not even record them, but they're going to happen, and that's going to lead to a lot more power outages. We'll talk about those power outages in further detail coming up. First off, Ian Cassette, you, sir, are tracking more action on the radar, and it looks like just offshore is where really the most intense part of the system is currently residing.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where we can actually see the eye wall on radar as it moves closer, and we have that radar available. Melbourne's radar looking out to the southeast. You pretty much have the full extent of the eye wall captured here, still covering parts of Freeport as well, and it is moving to the northwest. So it is heading towards our shores, and we are going to see it really deteriorate, that's the word, throughout the course of the night as it makes landfall. So let's look a little bit closer at the rain that's coming in. We've also it's been scattered, most of the rain showers. Some of you haven't even seen any rain yet to the northwest, but we're seeing some of the heavy showers that are moving onshore, stretching from the north, from the Cape. So Titusville, Rockledge are getting rain, and Grant's getting that heavy rain, and down into Indian River County, they're getting all that heavy rain. But this bulk of the core of the system is going to be moving to the northwest throughout the course of the night. So we are going to see all this moving and progressing to the northwest. We'll see the rain becoming more steady. We'll see the winds definitely will be rising. So far, winds have kind of been in that 20 to 30 inland for sustained winds. That's going to change throughout the night, and Brooks, we're expecting those wind gusts to be as high as 40, 50 sustained, and some of those gusts up to 60, maybe even up to 85 in Brevard County.
Yeah, that's when you start to hear that whistling sound, the screaming sound as it wafts through the rafters and through the homes, and it's a real mess. Hey, you know what? Some good news right now. At least power is still on in a lot of communities, although in Brevard County, we're up to 800 customers. That is 800 households and or businesses without power. So we're starting to see slowly the impacts of this, but as that eye wall makes it shore, we're going to see a spike in power outages, and we're likely to see them spread well inland as Hurricane Nicole works inland through tomorrow morning. Our exclusive Fox model is performed in an exemplary fashion during Hurricane Ian. It was spot on, nailing the trends up to a day before the other models had a clue of what was going on, and this has done the same. This has had a great example. While the other models were taking into South Florida, this was insisting that we were going to see an impact directly in our viewing area, and that's exactly what looks like is going to happen. A landfall in either Indian River County or Brevard County, and after that, Orlando may find itself in the eye wall tomorrow morning as soon as 6 a.m., and that would lead to wind gusts in excess of hurricane force and widespread power outages. But this gets out of here as soon as it moved in, so we're going to see vast improvement tomorrow afternoon after rapid deterioration over the next couple of hours. Stay with us. Our Hurricane Nicole continuous coverage continues after this.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. Experts are predicting a very bad flu season this year. Now, we've been through it all with COVID-19, but you've got to get that flu shot. Anyone over 6 months of age needs to get the flu shot. I would get it in the next couple of weeks to protect you all year long. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
Want the chewiest cookies at your next party or bake sale? You need to add fructose. Here's how. Bon Appetit recommends replacing 20% of the sugar in your original recipe with agave syrup and adding 1 tablespoon of flour per quarter cup of agave. Chewiness depends on moisture content that can't be controlled by butter or eggs, but instead by fructose. Fructose is found in honey, corn syrup, and molasses, but the most effective is agave. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense. Are you burning money on your stove? You could be. Keep the lids on your pots. That holds the heat in. If the pot is too small for the burner, that actually lets all that heat escape. And if it's too big for the burner, you're using extra energy to heat it up. That'll save you $36 a year on an electric stove and $18 on a gas stove.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
Welcome back. The strong surf from Nicole is slamming into the Volusia County coast right now. It's been chipping away at the seawall in Daytona Beach.
Fox Weather's Katie Garner joins us now in Daytona Beach shores. And Katie, you've been watching it get worse.
I have, yes, Ray and Luann, I have been watching it get worse. I've been watching my hair get worse too, but whatever. All right, look behind me. This sign is really shaking right here. It was shaking a lot worse just a minute ago. You'll notice these winds come in and then they kind of drift off and then they come in again full force. You'll notice if they come in again, actually, you can see it now. The stoplight pole there is shaking pretty hard, and that's been a thing. All right, Jeff, come over here to me. Nobody's on the roads because there was a curfew at 8. I've been looking real close. The cones, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down there, along with a lot of debris down in the roadway. So that's something that we're really keeping an eye on here for us. Now, as I continue to look at things, I really do want to talk to you about the condo buildings, okay? This is really important. Hear me out. The sheriff himself said it's not if, but when these buildings could potentially collapse. Now, is this one of them? I don't know. I don't know which buildings they are. But what I do know is this. Sheriff deputies are going door to door, and they are evacuating everybody because after Ian, the structure is so unsound that with this storm, 12 buildings in Daytona Beach are likely to collapse. 22 buildings just the town over are likely to collapse. This is a big, big problem. They don't want it to be another Surfside. If you know, you know, and that's why they're trying to get people out. So that's what we're looking at right now. Now, I'll tell you, I'm a little out of breath because the wind will really take it out of you when you're walking. Oh, we have a police officer. Good. They're out on the roads, the rescue, but it's not anybody that should not be out here. Again, the curfew was implemented at 8 p.m., and the water continues to be on the rise. The surge is getting a little worse, as are the winds. They've been getting worse. Luckily, we're in a spot right now. We crossed the street from where we were originally in our last hit, where the winds are a little lighter on us. But we're not seeing much in the way of any pedestrians right now, as I've mentioned, which is good, but I'm still seeing every kind of thing blowing across these roads. So if you do come out for any reason, you need to be careful because debris hit me in the face a little bit ago. I mean, it was literally a piece of dirt. It was nothing. But I mean, look at all this debris flying. You can see it just coming off, and a lot of the sea foam is coming out here too. So this is what we're seeing right now, guys. You know, the condo thing is very concerning to me. I want you to be safe, but you'll notice that not one light on in this condo building. So I think people really did take heed and got out of here. We're going to stay up to date on all this, and we'll be back with you throughout the night.
All right, Katie, thank you so much. And yeah, that's something we're going to be monitoring, of course, is those buildings on the shore.
Yeah, because we're expecting to lose power. So it's good to see the lights on right now, and keep it here. We'll keep you updated on the power outages. And don't forget, download the Fox 35 Storm Team weather app, because even if you lose power, you can keep up to date on Nicole and watch our newscasts right on your phone.
All right, we'll be right back with the latest to help keep you safe. Stay with us.
This week week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
To get the most out of your cell phone battery, consider shallow charging. Instead of draining your battery to zero, recharge it 50%. When you charge it up, stop at about 90%. Once a month, you should run it down to 5% and recharge so it can recalibrate its self-assessment. When charging is done, remove your phone from the charger. Electronics will age faster if they're left plugged in when fully charged. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. A new study found that even moderate drinking can reduce the volume of your brain. Now, this isn't good and it can lead to a lot of problems. So everything in moderation. That's what my grandfather used to say. If you're going to drink, limit it and don't do it every day. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
All right, Stu, here's my gift to you. Download the Fox Sports app. You stream every match live from Fox and FS1. Just got to have a paid TV subscription.
Sensational! Well, that's your gift. I got one for you.
Is it a soccer ball?
How'd you know?
Sometimes we want people to say things to us, and they're just not able to say it. They're just not there. They're not built that way. But just because the people you want to hear it from won't say it, doesn't mean you'll never get to hear it in your life. Life is going to send you all the words and all the voices and all the people you need to say the things your soul is desperate to hear. See, don't get mad when the people you love won't say it. You're going to hear it just from a place you never thought you would.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense. Is all this inflation keeping you from enjoying eating out? You could save up to 35% on food and up to 20% on drinks if you dine during happy hours instead of a restaurant's regular peak hours. And there's an app called Happable.com that can help you find happy hour deals in your neighborhood.
Seminole County also bracing for Nicole. Parts of that county suffered major damage from Hurricane Ian and are still cleaning up. Emergency Management Director Alan Harris says when it comes to the new storm, they're preparing for the worst, hoping for the best.
Crews have been out looking at storm drains. We've topped off generators, stage utility, public works and first response crews, shelter crews, set up the shelters yesterday and opened the shelters this morning. In preparations for individuals that may want to come to the emergency shelters during the height of the storm.
There are 2 shelters open in Seminole County, Bentley Elementary in Sanford and Lawton Childs Middle School in Oviedo also open.
Yeah, and the main attractions are closing up shop for the storm. Disney World shut down today ahead of Nicole.
They're doing a phased closure. The parks are staying closed through tomorrow morning. Disney says the parks will likely not reopen at their regular times tomorrow, but didn't specify if they'd be closed all day. Universal also closed early, planning to reopen tomorrow in phases, but also didn't say when.
SeaWorld closed today and tomorrow. Precautions are in place to make sure all the animals there are staying safe during the storm. The park says it plans to reopen on Friday. Customers who bought tickets to go to the park today or tomorrow will be able to use those tickets any day for the rest of the year. Well, you are watching Fox 35 extended coverage of Hurricane Nicole, and we will be right back.
Yeah, we're heading back out to the coast to check on conditions there coming up after the break. And also download the Fox 35 News app to stay up to date, just in case you have any power outages.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs Indeed, America's #1 lotion tissue.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. Experts are predicting a very bad flu season this year. Now, we've been through it all with COVID-19, but you've got to get that flu shot. Anyone over 6 months of age needs to get the flu shot. I would get it in the next couple of weeks to protect you all year long. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
I believe.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense. Are you burning money on your stove? You could be. Keep the lids on your pots. That holds the heat in. If the pot is too small for the burner, that actually lets all that heat escape. And if it's too big for the burner, you're using extra energy to heat it up. That'll save you $36 a year on an electric stove and $18 on a gas stove.
The storm surge on the verge of swallowing buildings along the coast of Central Florida.
It's not a matter of if something's going to collapse, it's a matter of when. As the night goes on, we're expecting terrible things to happen.
Residents being told to get out, but not everyone is listening.
If it was a Cat 3 or Cat 4 coming off the ocean, I wouldn't be here.
Fox 35 News starts now with a new hurricane track.
Welcome to our continuing coverage of the path of Nicole, and you can see there is the brand new path as the storm is about to make landfall in just the next few hours here in Florida. The Fox 35 storm team has worked nonstop since this morning, bringing you the latest information live on air and online. All right, Nicole already bringing a lot of heavy rain, some strong winds, and of course the dangerous storm surge right here to Central Florida. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Brown.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Luann Sorrell. We want to get right over to Brooks and Ian in the Fox 35 Storm Center tonight. So, guys, what are you seeing with this brand new track?
Well, the word of the hour is, nominal, meaning everything is on track. The Fox model, Ian, we've been looking at this, called this a day and a half ago as far as where this thing's going, and that looks like it's coming to pass. We've got a landfall this morning kicking in right about 1 a.m., so it's going to be the middle of the night, and it looks like it'll make a landfall right over the Fort Pierce, Vero Beach area, and then from there work inland, bringing with it hurricane force wind gusts through Orlando toward daybreak tomorrow before making an exit out of our region and up to the Panhandle by lunchtime tomorrow. This is a big system with a lot of wind, so try not to pay attention too much to the exact landfall location, because even places like Daytona Beach is going to be getting hit with hurricane force wind gusts as the tropical storm force winds extend out some 625 miles. And as this comes ashore in Orange, these hurricane force winds will easily work through Brevard County and into Orange County before finally the system weakens tomorrow afternoon. Speaking of Daytona Beach, we've got some big tides to watch. Earlier, we had a tide at 8:30. The next big one is coming up shortly before 9 a.m. And this one, according to the National Weather Service hydrologists and the meteorologists that pay specific attention to the action of storm surge, higher than normal astronomical tides, and the tidal forces, say that this will be the big one tomorrow morning, around about 9 p.m. that could do some serious damage to a coastline that's essentially been stripped of its natural dunes after Hurricane Ian a month and a half ago. And compounding the troubles, we've got a possibility of some tornadoes overnight tonight, beginning shortly after midnight as Nicole makes its way ashore. For more on the radar, we've got Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Ian Cassette. Ian, we can see the eye wall now using our Fox 35 Storm Tracker radar.
Yeah, we can see that storm. It's inching closer and closer. It will be here soon. It's going to be here, expected to make landfall after midnight, probably around 1 in the morning, and the latest cone hasn't really changed too much on where it's expected to make landfall. Probably just going to be just to the south of Brevard County, maybe in Indian River County. But regardless, with this wind field, it's going to bring the heavy rain and winds, both of those expected to increase throughout the course of the night. But there it is. There's the eye wall. It is inching closer and closer, moving to the northwest. And this is not going to be like Ian, where it was a slow mover. This is going to be moving at a better pace and should be moving across our area at a pace that is about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So looking closer at what we're seeing right now along the shoreline at Satellite Beach, this is in Brevard County. This is an area that I'm expecting to get unfortunately hit pretty hard in our area, probably going to see the biggest impacts. Not only are we going to see the coastal erosion, we're going to have potential for some flooding, and we are going to have that potential for the strongest winds, hurricane gusts that will be likely here running to the south. So Grant, Miko, Satellite Beach, all expected to get hit pretty hard here with this, but we are going to keep you safe here at Fox 35, and we're going to help you through this throughout the night. Farther to the northwest, it's actually been relatively dry the farther northwest you go because you're away from the bands. This is all going to be moving in. We have passing heavy showers, gusty showers like we've had the last couple of days. But, Brooks, it's going to become a lot more widespread as the core of the storm does move in here soon enough.
All right, Ian. Well, thank you very much. All right, that said, we're going to continue our team coverage, tracking the system. And, Ian, we're going to talk about where exactly it's going to go, when it's going to get there, and what impacts you can expect coming up in just a few minutes. Guys, we're going to toss it back to you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, Fox 35's Connor Hansen. He starts our coverage tonight. He's joining us live in Flagler County.
Some people there are under a mandatory evacuation order. So, Connor, that Flagler Pier is taking a beating right now.
That's right, Luann. And I think the big question tonight is this storm going to finally do it in? I'm going to let you get a look at it right now. We're shining our brightest light on it so you can see through the rain and the sea foam that's just spraying all over the place. Obviously, Hurricane Ian did serious damage to the pier. Any damage you see right now is mostly from that. It's been closed ever since. No one's allowed on there, and they're planning to take it down eventually. But again, we're wondering if this storm tonight could take serious parts of this down. For reference, it's a 20-foot tall pier, and we're seeing waves going pretty high up on there. You know, we've seen these waves continue to be strong. For reference, high tide was at 8:30, just a couple hours ago. It's going to go out until around 2:30, but we're still seeing the water go just as high, sometimes splashing over onto the sidewalk here, coming all the way up to this vegetation. Now, this is the case up and down the coast. On A1A, some parts now closed due to that erosion just for safety. And just north of here in Beverly Beach, I want to show you that, because this is a community that sits right between the beach here and the intercoastal, and it's manufactured homes, which makes things a little bit more dangerous. But the water was already coming up from the intercoastal up the street right in front of some of these people's homes. And this was a few hours ago when we visited this. We talked to some of the people there who said they're not leaving. They have no plans leaving. They're going to stick around for this storm. Take a listen.
If it was a Cat 3 or Cat 4 coming off the ocean, I wouldn't be here. We'd be in a hotel. And my wife called yesterday. There's not a hotel room around. We've been here with the house a year and a half now. Okay. And the only thing during Ian, we had about an inch of rain, from the water coming up into the garage. Gotcha. And that was the only flooding. And then we mopped it all up, and high tide came, the next high tide, and we had to do it all over again.
And that's a familiar story we're hearing from people all up and down the coast. People say they're going to stay here and stick out the storm. And throughout the night, we've seen people just even walking down here to the pier to come check it out. You can see a few of them right here if we could turn the camera if it's not too windy. People coming down to take pictures and videos, trying to see it for themselves. They're clearly not evacuating just yet. Reporting live in Flagler Beach, Connor Hansen, Fox 35 News.
Connor, thank you. And that is exactly what officials are telling people not to do. Go to the water because the surf is really bad. And you don't know what you're going to encounter when you're out on the roads driving either.
One of the things that they were talking about is even on I-4 tonight, a pothole opened up and people are driving by, didn't realize it had opened up. So if you're driving where it's eroding, especially on A1A, which has gone out into the ocean before, you try and drive home, the road's gone, then you're stuck.
Not a night to go sightseeing.
No, certainly not.
For sure. Well, a curfew curfew is now in effect in Volusia County. It started at 7 tonight, and it's going to stay in place until 7 a.m. A mandatory evacuation is also in place for everyone east of the Intercoastal. And this is why officials want everyone living along the coast to get out. The seawall at Daytona Beach is crumbling. Those powerful waves just keep hitting it, chipping it away, causing it to crash into the ocean.
There's not much sand left at this point, right?
No.
Fox 35's Valerie Boyd joins us live in Daytona Beach shores. And Val, you were just on board a rescue vehicle where crews are mobilized to get more people out of the storm danger there. So what happened with that?
Hey there, John. Well, we went up and down the streets checking out all the structures, and seems like right now everything is okay. But as the conditions get worse, we're very concerned. In fact, take a look here at Daytona Beach shores. You could see the winds are up and down. The palm tree is just waving in the wind, and the sign over there is just shaking around. Yes, we were on a water rescue truck. Take a look at this video. It was very high. Of course, deputies are very concerned about flooding in the area, and that's why they say they're going to go up and down the streets all night long just in case something should happen. And earlier today, we saw deputies going door to door, evacuating people here at Daytona Beach shores at a dozen condos because the structures just aren't safe. And over at Wilbur by the Sea, well, there's 22 homes that have been deemed unsafe, and that's why the sheriff has ordered a mandatory evacuation. And as you guys said, there is a curfew here till 7 o'clock in the morning, so hope everyone stays inside and stays safe. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Val, and you stay safe out there. All right, the Halifax River, which is a part of the Intercoastal Waterway, is already flowing onto some of the streets in Port Orange and even approaching some of the neighborhoods over there.
We want to get right out to Fox 35's Christy Kern. She is live there tonight. So, Christy, what are you seeing?
Well, Luann, John, the wind here is starting to pick up, but the real story, like you just mentioned, is the water. The Halifax River is just beyond those homes here back behind me, and it is quickly making its way into this mobile home park. This is the Riverside Mobile Homes in Port Orange, and people who live here say they are just starting to recover from Hurricane Ian. I just talked to a couple people who say the water from Hurricane Ian was actually up to these windows. Police came by this area earlier, and they're recommending that people leave. Still, though, a lot of people are staying. They say they're not too concerned about this, even though, again, the water is rising. We spoke with one man earlier. He's actually visiting here from Sarasota. He is a truck driver, and he says he's staying here with a friend. He just experienced Hurricane Ian, and now he's about to experience Nicole.
When you're here and you're so close and the water's coming up like that, you're scared almost like this is how it's going to be. So, yeah, I think this is a lot worse than that. Because the water, you're so close to the water.
Now, again, that man is planning to stay. A lot of people here are also doing the same. They say if things get bad, they will leave. So a lot of people have a way to get out. Just to give you an idea, though, it looks like there's almost about 6 inches or so of water. Again, this is all coming from the Halifax River that's just beyond this mobile home park. Live tonight in Port Orange, Christy Kern, Fox 35 News.
Thank you so much, Christy, as the water comes up over there. And by the way, the Fox 35 storm team will continue to work around the clock tracking Hurricane Nicole. And both our storm team meteorologists and crews out in the field tweeting out about the latest info and video as well. Just search Fox 35 Orlando on Twitter and make sure you follow that account as well. And we will be right back.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free. Like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer. So let's see some hustle.
Hey, I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense to help you cut your impulse spending. Remove your credit card information from the retail websites where you shop, like Amazon or Walmart. If it's stored, it's just too easy to click and spend. Having to enter your credit card information each time gives you more time to think before you buy.
Need a private place for your pet to play? Renting your yard is the newest trend in cashing in. Sniff Spot is the company that will connect yard owners with dog owners. You can rent space by the hour. Only the dog and their owner can visit, and the host can set their own price, usually up to $15 an hour. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
No matter how many times you fall down, No matter how many mistakes you make, your commitment has to be that I'm getting up and I can't stay here. Perseverance is the thing that makes you different. A lot of people are gifted, a lot of people are beautiful, a lot of people are talented, but the thing that a lot of people don't have is the willingness to get back up and get back in the race and to keep fighting. And that's my wish, my prayer, my hope for you, that no matter what yesterday did, that today will be the day where you decide that your life is worth the trouble of living. Fight on, my friend.
All right, this is our special Tracking the Tropics segment. Obviously, continuing coverage of Hurricane Nicole continues after this, but the latest on this, it's going to make landfall as a Cat 1 tonight around midnight and then bring hurricane force winds to Orlando. More to follow.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. You seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. A new study came out showing that it doesn't matter when you take your blood pressure medications. You can take it in the morning, afternoon, or evening, but you have to take it. This reduces your risk of heart attack and stroke. Listen, folks, you have to take care of business and take your blood pressure medication. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
I'm Steve Noviello inviting you to click on Consumer. With the used car market so hot, many drivers are finding that they have equity in their lease. But when it comes time to buy your ride at the end of the lease term to capture that cash, beware. Remember, the depreciated value was determined likely before any inventory shortage and is part of the contract. Make sure the dealership honors that price and doesn't try and spike it with fees or financing rules. Spend smarter, live better, right here.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of tracking Hurricane Nicole. The Fox 35 Storm Team Thunder Truck is out on the roads tonight, tracking conditions in Volusia County.
And that's where we find Fox 35's Dave Puglisi. He joins us live as they're heading out in the area along the beach right now. So, Dave, tell us what are the conditions out there and where are you right now?
Well, John, we're in downtown Cocoa. Take a look. It is empty, dark, and everything is closed up. And you can also see there's no cars. Nobody is out. Any cars you see are just parked, and not too many people are really around other than officials. There's a couple guys out here hanging out, just having some food. Seems like a good time for that. Oh, this guy's pulling out in front of us. But yeah, it's been light rain so far. Again, on and off. Nothing too crazy, nothing that one can't handle. But we are right here along the beachfront here in Cocoa. The marina is right in front of us, where you can get an idea just some of the winds and waves over here. Of course, we're protected a little bit from Merritt Island and getting some of the bigger waves, but we aren't very far from where the storm is going to land. You heard Ian and Brooks talking not too long ago about this storm hitting about the Satellite Beach area, Vero Beach area, and we're only about 25 minutes north of where they believe this storm will be landing. So we're going to definitely see some the brunt of the storm here, and we're actually getting a little bit over closer to the water. It's obviously hard to see because of how dark it is. Oh, wait, look at that. Storm Team Thunder Truck carries lights. Look at this. So you can kind of see a little bit of the water in front of us here. And but we're going to obviously have more throughout the night as we continue to track this storm with the Thunder Truck. And we're going to try our best to be right in the middle of it so you guys can really see what the action's like so you don't have to be out. We'll be there trying to get that safely, of course. But that's the latest from the Fox 35 Storm Team Thunder Truck. I'm Dave Puglisi. Back to you.
That is one big ol' impressive vehicle, Dave. Thank you.
Isn't that a classic story, though? Like where they were, not a half hour ago, sideways rain, and you can see it all. And now it's completely
as
calm.
Those squalls move in. We see it every time. It's just bizarre. It's hard to wrap your mind around when it's perfectly clear out that someone's getting a downpour like a few miles away.
Yeah, if you were just dropped here and you saw that shot, you think, oh, it's a pretty nice night out there. Except that there's a hurricane about to hit 20 miles to the south.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Well, speaking of that hurricane hitting, let's see where it is right now. Let's check back in with Brooks and Ian.
Hey, guys, all right, you have the latest timeline here, Brooks. So when are we expecting this thing to actually come ashore at this point?
It's going to come ashore around about 1 or 2 in the morning, just south of Brevard County, and then it's going to rip roar right through central Florida, bringing hurricane-force wind gusts to places like Disney, downtown Orlando, as well as potentially Daytona, where here's an example of a spot where it is really blowing. You know, Ian and I have been looking at the cameras around the region, and you can see the shaking here as we look down on A1A and Atlantic Avenue, and the palm trees just really, really whipping around in those winds. Another spot in Daytona Beach is a view of the parking lot of the public safety building there at Daytona Beach, and it's also showing a lot of wind whipping, the trees really blowing. So we've got a lot going on out there. There's also a severe component to this. We've got a possibility of a couple of isolated tornadoes developing overnight, so we got to watch that very carefully. Just so you know, too, we've also been looking at the river levels. The good news with the St. Johns River here is that we're not expecting any kind of flooding issues in Sanford or in DeLand or Lake Harney, but in Astor, unfortunately, we are going to be watching the possibility very carefully of major flooding returning to Astor. Not because of the rainfall expected. We're only going to get about 3 to 6 inches, but Lake George is kind of backing up as the northeast wind stops the flow of the St. Johns, and that's causing a backlog of water in Astor, leading to that expected major flooding through this weekend. So we got your back, Astor. We're watching you. That said, Ian, what is the latest on where these outer bands are, the heaviest rains, and what does it mean for the next couple of hours?
We're starting to really see things ramp up as the storm inches closer, and currently the radar showing you some pretty heavy rain, substantially heavy rain that is wrapping around the northern end of the system. That's actually the area of the storm that has shown that it has a lot of convective nature. There's a lot of storms going on. The south end, not so much. It's got dry air kind of pooling into it. But on the north end, we have that fetch of moisture that is wrapping around, and we're seeing some of those heavy bands that are going to be moving soon, moving onshore. So let's look closer at what we're seeing here right now over our area. Well, over our area, we're seeing still that scattered activity, gusty showers kind of passing off and on, not always raining, but that will change here throughout the course of the night as the widespread rain moves in. So farther to the south, we're definitely seeing widespread activity coming from the core of the system that's going to be moving onshore, and all of this is all moving in. So Brevard County, you're soon to be getting the heavier rain and the heavy winds. We will eventually probably get, or we will get, hurricane force winds in Brevard County, given how close, Brooks, this is going to be making landfall to them.
Yeah, you know, as far as hurricanes go, this is an oddly structured one. It doesn't have a lot of thunderstorm activity in the center of it, but it was also once a subtropical storm. That said, it makes it no less dangerous. In fact, it actually makes it more dangerous because as a once subtropical storm, it has a much larger wind field. So while the center of circulation is expected now to track into places like Fort Pierce, we're going to be catching the full force of this hurricane in the form of hurricane force wind gusts between the hours of 1 and 8 a.m. at the coastline and between roughly 4 and 11 a.m. inland. And then after that, it heads up toward the nature coast. It's going to be a quick hitter, but it'll be enough to knock out power inland for a lot of locations. And at the beach, the big legacy of this hurricane will be the inundation at the coast, the erosion, the major erosion, the possibility of structures, homes, buildings on Daytona Beach, quite literally succumbing to the power of the ocean. I mean, falling into the water. We've had these dire warnings from officials there about that happening. We've witnessed a couple of buildings today have some issues. But when you're talking about 625 miles of wind, that's roughly 2 to 3 times the wind field of a typical system like this. It's not just about the category, it's about all the other elements to help you judge the power of this thing. And indeed, it will have some power as it rips ashore coming up here in the middle of the night. So conditions will be deteriorating rapidly from here on in. All right, John and Luann will continue to track this coming up.
Brooks, thank you. A live look right now at Flagler Beach. The waves are really ripping there. We have more breaking coverage tracking Hurricane Nicole next, right here on Fox 35.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free. Like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer. So let's see some hustle.
To get the most out of your cell phone battery, consider shallow charging. Instead of draining your battery to zero, recharge at 50%. When you charge it up, stop at about 90%. Once a month, you should run it down to 5% and recharge so it can recalibrate its self-assessment. When charging is done, remove your phone from the charger. Electronics will age faster if they're left plugged in when fully charged. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed, America's #1 lotion tissue. Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed, America's #1 lotion tissue.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. A new study found that hangovers will really get you in your mid-30s. Now, I don't like to see anyone at any age drink too much, but the older you get, the more likely you're going to suffer after drinking too much. Take plenty of fluids, stay off the highways. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense. Is all this inflation keeping you from enjoying eating out? You could save up to 35% on food and up to 20% on drinks if you dine during happy hours instead of a restaurant's regular peak hours. And there's an app called Happable.com that can help you find happy hour deals in your neighborhood.
Man, we've been talking about the timing of this thing all day. 1 to 1, right? 1 a.m.
In and out of
by
here.
1 p.m. is going to be in the Gulf. And that's why Disney already making plans to reopen the theme parks tomorrow. That's right, reopen the parks.
Yeah, the parks closed today ahead of the storm, but tomorrow the Magic Kingdom will reopen at noon and close early at 6 o'clock. Epcot will open an hour later at 1 o'clock and close at 9. Animal Kingdom also opening on an abbreviated schedule. They're going to be open from 1 to 7. And Hollywood Studios will reopen tomorrow afternoon from 2 until 10.
All right, we haven't heard yet from Universal Orlando about their latest plan. The park closed in phases today until the storm was passed. We expect it's going to reopen tomorrow again at some point. We don't know yet. Now, as soon as we hear anything, the latest timeline, we'll post an update on the Fox 35 News app, and of course, we'll pass it along right here on Fox 35 News.
And precautions are in place at SeaWorld tonight to make sure the animals there will stay safe during the storm. The park says it plans to reopen on Friday, so it's going to be closed tomorrow. Customers who bought tickets for today or tomorrow will be able to use them any day throughout the rest of the year.
All right, OIA, Orlando International Airport, also closed tonight. You see that view right there? It is quiet. Yeah, they've shut all that down for the time being. Same situation in Sanford, Daytona, Melbourne. All those airports remain closed. Now, as soon as we get word on when the flights are going to resume, we'll, of course, let you know tomorrow morning on Good Day Orlando and on our website. But again, remember, once they reopen, they got to get a lot of flights back up to speed. So that's going to be some delays.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess for a while. A lot of tourists stuck here. They were planning to fly out, but they couldn't because the airport shut down. Well, you can find everything you need to know to prepare for the storm on fox35orlando.com. From closings to the latest forecast, you can also get alerts right to your phone by downloading the Fox 35 News app and the Fox 35 Storm Team Weather app.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
I was adopted as a child, and that experience taught me that my life is not defined by the people who walked away. My life is defined by the people who love me enough to stay. Why is it that we give our best words and our best ideas to our enemies? Why don't we celebrate our friends more, the people that loved us and stayed with us anyhow? My advice to everybody every single day is celebrate the people who stuck around, because those are the people who deserve the best of your ideas, the best of your heart, the best of your sentences, because they loved you.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Hey, I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense to help you cut your impulse spending. Remove your credit card information from the retail websites where you shop, like Amazon or Walmart. If it's stored, it's just too easy to click and spend. Having to enter your credit card information each time gives you more time to think before you buy.
Inflation has caused consumers to tap the brakes on certain new purchases, among them cars. 37% of respondents to a survey say they are holding off on buying a new vehicle. Vacations, pet grooming, and furniture are also on the chopping block, but there may be better days ahead. Many home stores are suddenly seeing an influx of deliveries, causing them to drop prices and even sell first-run merchandise in their outlet stores. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Hurricane Ian knocked out power for tens of thousands of people all across Central Florida, and now utility companies are bracing for Nicole.
And we have Michelle Lynch. She's the Director of Corporate Communications for OUC. She joins us tonight on Zoom. Michelle, great to see you. So first of all, let's talk about this one. What are you guys anticipating tonight? Are you looking at any outages right now, or just kind of wait and see?
Well, I just looked at our outage map, and I only saw about 10 individuals who are out. But, we do have crews who are ready to go out should they need to be dispatched. We've got about 207 individuals, and that ranges from our line technicians, our safety assessors, water trouble technicians, tree trimmers. They will all be out in the field tomorrow when it is safe to do so. We don't anticipate the same number of outages that we saw with Hurricane Ian, but it really depends on the winds. That is really what is going to play a big role with the storm.
Michelle, is there anything you guys do before the storm hits to get prepared for possible outages?
Absolutely. We actually prepare all year long, and that ranges from going through with hardening our storm system, hardening our electric and water infrastructure, to going out and trimming trees and drilling. We drill throughout the year. And it's a variety of scenarios that we look at. So we do everything we possibly can to make sure we're prepared for really a variety of situations.
Now, do you already have the crews here in town ready to roll? As soon as this thing's passed, you guys can go out assess, or how does that work at this point?
We do. We're actually using our own crews for this storm. They are on standby. They're ready to go. First thing they'll do is they will go out in the morning when conditions are safe. They will inspect our equipment. We have safety assessors who will go out. They'll make sure that our power generation facilities are good, our substations are good, transmission lines. And then they will start looking at restoring power to critical infrastructure. So if hospitals, 911 centers, fire, police go down, then those are going to be the first priority that they look at. And then they really start looking at our transmission lines and how many people they can get back into power as quickly and as safely as possible.
All right. Michelle Lynch with OUC, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thanks. Same to you. Well, we have talked about the erosion that was left behind by Hurricane Ian, and this is what we're talking about. Take a look. You're seeing waves crashing against the road and the seawall in Flagler Beach. There is virtually no beach sand left there, and storm surge is already creeping up close to some homes. That's expected to get much worse over the next 12 hours.
Another example of why you don't go driving around tonight, because that road could be gone at some point tonight.
Yeah, and it's so dark you can't see what's out there or how deep the water is. Well, Fox Weather's Katie Garner is live for us tonight in Volusia County.
Yeah, she's been out in the thick of it all night. So, Katie, you guys in that area are starting to see some of these northern rain bands giving you the smackdown. What's it like out there right now?
John, watch. Just watch. Woo! The wind is really, really picking up. I'm standing here. The ocean is just feet that way. You've got ocean water shooting around that curve and up the road. In fact, take a look. Woo! We have foam right there. That's from the ocean. It's come all the way up. Gusts have got to be over 60 miles an hour. Brooks Garner, I know you know the speeds of these winds. Text me. Let me know the exact speed. Coming down here, there's debris spinning. And as it does, more wood pieces and things from the beach are coming. Now I'm looking. Now you can't see this if you were to put the camera on it, but I'm looking. These waves are big. They're getting bigger. And I'm gonna go down here and show you. The only thing we were blocked by when I came on was that dumpster. But now we're starting to see more of this debris come in. Look at all this sea foam tracing up. But we've also got all kinds of debris, boards, seaweed, whatnot. Very dangerous. Guys, I'm gonna throw it back to you. I hope I can hear. I think I can, but I'm gonna throw it back to you.
Katie, you nailed it. Brooke says you're seeing gusts 55 to 65 miles per hour out there. That girl knows what she's talking about. She knows her wind speeds, John.
And she certainly does. And Brooks, I tell you what, this is that time of night where it gets creepy out there because you can't see that much. You know, the winds are coming in, and that's where they were talking about this potential for some of these buildings to collapse. So that's a scary situation out there.
Yeah, we're talking about storm surge pushing into the beach, undermining the foundations, and with a wind coming off the water like it is, and the storm surge going up 5 feet. Ian, a month and a half ago, ripped away a lot of the dunes. There's very little protection, and a lot of the buildings that were kind of teetering on the edge anyway, well, they may find themselves over the edge before this is out. The next high tide, by the way, is 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's going to be the real test. Look at these wind gusts out there between 30 and 50 miles an hour, gusting between 60 and 65 miles an hour. A look down at a close-up of a palm tree here in Daytona Beach off of A1A. It is really blowing there from the Hard Rock Hotel. Here's a shot of a parking lot. Showing you this because it's nighttime and really it's the only light I can find there at Daytona. But if you look carefully, the trees are really whipping here at Daytona Beach. Temperatures there at 76 degrees, so at least it's somewhat mild, but if you're getting whipped around there in the wind, it feels cool. Now, we're looking good inland as far as power outages go. Things are good, but on the coast, up to 2,500 customers now without power in Brevard County, about 800 south once you get down toward Indian River County. And here's the scoop. Our Fox model, this performed extremely well with Hurricane Ian, and it's doing great. This is a real contender. It's doing good as far as forecasting the position and the forecast wind speeds of Hurricane Nicole. Indeed, as we head through 3 a.m., we're going to start to catch wind gusts between 85 and 90 miles an hour in Brevard County and up to about 60 miles an hour in Titusville, maybe 65, 70 miles an hour at Daytona. This is going to be where the heart of it comes in as the landfall occurs across southeastern sections. We're talking Indian River County. It then pushes inland where we could catch wind gusts well over 70, maybe 75 miles an hour, hurricane force in Kissimmee, and all the way up into Sanford is a potential before that finally moves up into the Tampa Bay region. And we see a rapid improvement in our conditions here locally. Our conditions improving tomorrow afternoon. Really really exponentially, just as much as they're deteriorating right now as Nicole makes its way in. It's moving west-northwest at 13 miles an hour, winds of 75 miles an hour, makes landfall overnight tonight around 1 a.m. down here in either the Fort Pierce area, maybe up towards Sebastian, maybe even into Brevard County. This is just the center of the cone. It could easily make landfall up here in the Melbourne area, and then it skirts out of here. So we've got about a 12-hour period starting, maybe even actually less than that, more like 6 to 8 hours. I got to get my math right. In Orlando, it's going to get bad around 5 in the morning, and it'll get better after about 11 in the morning. So it's just a small window, but it's going to be a really impactful window. You know, we were talking about the potential of power outages. Very little happening right now, but that's about to change as we get toward 5 in the morning. Look at these bands of rain rolling through the region. The center of circulation, by the way, could head right up into Orlando. This is one of our computer models. The IBM graph takes it right up into Orlando, and we'd bear the highest end of these winds, easily hurricane force. But along the coastline, while Ian a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago, is known for the inland flooding thanks to the 20 inches of rain we got, this one's going to be all about the storm surge and the battering waves on the coastline. That's going to be the big legacy of Nicole, because tomorrow morning with a high tide at 9 a.m., there's going to be a real test. A test because this thing is huge as far as its wind field goes. I know it's only a Category 1. As Floridians, that's kind of like a Thursday afternoon in the summertime with a big thunderstorm. But with a storm like this, it's at least 2 to 3 times bigger than typically you'd see with a Cat 1. The reason for this huge wind field is because it used to be a subtropical storm. That's like a storm that has characteristics of a nor'easter, right? But then it acquired tropical characteristics, so it has kind of the worst of both worlds. Huge storm as far as the wind goes, even though the hurricane core is relatively compact. But look at this thing coming right over Brevard County and right over Orange County, right over the attractions before finally weakening. So we're going to see hurricane force winds. There's another look at Daytona Beach, and the big tides ahead tomorrow morning about 9 a.m. That'll be the test. Everybody looking at this is saying, you know what? We're going to have the perfect combination of these astronomically high tides running about 2 feet higher than normal at the max, a storm surge of up to 5 feet. So you're looking at 6 to 7 feet above normal. On top of that, battering waves that could eclipse 10 to 15 feet. So structures on the edge already be impacted by the wind and the waves right now could meet their end tomorrow. So be very careful out here on the coastline. John and Luann will continue to track this critical situation as conditions deteriorate throughout the night. A hurricane warning in effect for Brevard County right now.
All right, thanks a lot, Brooks. And Fox 35's Valerie Boyd's been riding along with law enforcement in Daytona Beach shores with their high water vehicle tonight.
She joins us live right now. And Val, you're near where Katie Gardner was earlier. How are things there where are you? Daytona Beach Shores?
I'm actually, I'm in Daytona Beach Shores at the Pirates Cove condos, and you're right, I'm very close to Katie. Only here in this part of the parking lot, it's only like around 10 to 15 miles per hour, the wind gusts, whereas at the end of the parking lot where Katie was, I heard she was saying 50 miles per hour. So definitely a wind tunnel down here. Over here along A1A, you could see the trees blowing in the wind, as well as the signs. Of course, earlier this evening, deputies were out and about looking to rescue people. We went out on a water rescue truck up and down. They're concerned about flooding. And over here, well, that's the building that deputies went door to door in. They were evacuating people here at the Pirates Cove condominium, very concerned about the structure of the building. The sheriff says there's 12 structures here at Daytona Beach Shores that are not safe, and 22 at Wilbur by the Sea, 22 homes that have been evacuated because they're concerned those buildings could collapse. So very, very scary. So people aren't taking any chances over here in this area. Of course, a curfew takes place till 7 o'clock in the morning. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much. We're just looking over some of these videos here.
Yeah.
New Smyrna Beach, by the way. Thanks, Val. We'll talk to you in just a little bit. Stay safe. New Smyrna Beach is seeing some really high tides, and some of the waves are right up next to some of the condos there. There's some concerns in that area, too, Luann.
Yeah, we are hearing that maybe one of the condo buildings in New Smyrna Beach was evacuated. We're working to confirm that information. We'll keep you posted here on Fox 35 with the very latest. Our extended coverage of Hurricane Nicole continues all night long. We're not going anywhere. We're staying here all night. And be sure to download the Fox 35 Storm Team Weather app so you can track Nicole in real time along with our meteorologists. You can even watch our newscast live if you lose power. We'll be right back.
When an iconic brand beats a legendary beach, anything can happen. Experience Hard Rock Hotel Daytona Beach with panoramic ocean views, 4-star luxury, world-class cuisine, live entertainment, and our signature Rockstar service. Here, you vacation like a headliner. And once you reach this level, you'll want to stay here every time. Hard Rock Hotel, Daytona Beach. Made for music.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Hi, I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense to save you some money on travel. Before you book your next flight, check out the new Airline Customer Service Dashboard. It's on transportation.gov. If your flight is delayed or canceled, it'll show you which airlines will rebook you for free, plus which airlines will offer free hotel or meal vouchers if you get stuck. That's a big savings.
Want to max out the incentive for volunteering to get bumped from a flight? Express interest but never take the airline's first offer. Start by asking what the last person got. Then ask for extras like access to the lounge or a higher value seat up front for your rebooking. That's in addition to up to $1,500 or 4 times your fare paid in cash as required by the feds. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. A new study found that hangovers will really get you in your mid-30s. Now, I don't like to see anyone at any age drink too much, but the older you get, the more likely you're going to suffer after drinking too much. Take plenty of fluids, stay off the highways. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
We are tracking Hurricane Nicole tonight, and the storm's effects are being felt up and down the coast. These are a couple of cameras we have across the state. And Fox 35, the Storm Team Thunder Truck is out on the roads tonight, tracking conditions right now in Brevard County.
And Fox 35's Dave Puglisi joins us live once again. He's heading south, kind of down towards where the eye is going to come ashore. So, Dave, are you down that way? What are you seeing at this point?
Yeah, John, we're just about there. Technically, we're in Melbourne, but we're coming up on like Palm Shores, which is directly across from the water from where Satellite Beach is, which is where Ian and Brooks were saying that some of the eye of this storm is going to be coming over. So let's give you a look at what we're seeing right now, which is a little bit more rain right now at this moment in time than we were seeing before. Still a little bit light at the moment, but we're expecting that to change pretty quickly. Right now we're getting, like I said, we're to the, here, I'll give you a better look here. To the left of us is pretty much the water. That's all that darkness you see out there is the water. So what we're trying to do is really find a safe place to be for the rest of this evening as we post up to try to give you a good idea what this storm looks like. But yeah, that's all water on the other side of there. I know it's dark, hard to see, but right now we're just trying to find a good spot. You can see the wind really pushing around some of the palm trees here, and just the occasional car passing us by. But not too much to report on at the moment. It is picking up, and we will see the worst of it coming here pretty soon, and things are going to get a little bit different for us, that's for sure. So that's the latest in the Fox 35 Storm Team Thunder Truck. I'll send it back to you guys. in the studio.
All right, Dave, thank you. Let's check back in with Brooks and Ian.
All right, guys, so what do you have at this point? Anything new as far as this thing coming to shore?
I think the name of the game is don't let your guard down. I know that in some of these live shots it looks relatively quiet, which of course it is. However, the eye wall, the most intense part of this hurricane, is about 50 miles away from that location. It's right here. This is the eye wall. This is Nicole, and it's heading in that general direction. It'll probably get there inside of 3 hours from now, about a 1, maybe 2 a.m. landfall, depending on, does it go a little bit farther north and stay over water a little longer, or does it come in a little bit farther south and stay over water a little shorter of a time? A lot of the models bring it into Port St. Lucie, but a couple of reliable ones bring it up into southern Brevard County. It doesn't really make a difference. The impacts will be much the same. It's just a matter of technical timing when landfall occurs. But obviously, the closer you are to the eye of this thing, the windier it'll be. Right now, though, certainly we're in a little bit of a lull here in Brevard County, at least in central Brevard. But once you get down to southern Brevard, the rain picks up, the wind picks up, and before you know it, we're looking at about a 53-mile distance from the point of most likely landfall down here in Indian River County to the eye wall itself. And it's the eye wall where things get really intense as far as sustained winds, in this case over 75 miles an hour with gusts up to 90. Now, zooming into Daytona right now, a little bit of a break here. It's still windy, but we're just not getting pounded by the heavy rain. It is pouring, though, in areas now southwest of Orlando. Any one of these downpours is rolling in at about 40 miles an hour, just wrapping around Nicole's circulation. Winds right now gusting to 57 in Titusville at this official reporting station, but already we're seeing places in between and in moments that are brief where it's gusting up to 60, maybe 65 miles per hour. Here's a shot, close-up view of Daytona Beach, the palm trees whipping. Here's a wider shot. The power's still on. We are seeing about 2,500 power outages once you get down into Brevard County. Here it is, but so far, generally so good in Volusia County. We do expect that to change. Ian right now, speaking of impacts, is tracking those. Ian, so we've got Brevard County as pretty much in the crosshairs of the worst of this thing inside of 3 hours from now. What are you seeing as far as our impacts go?
Brevard County is probably going to see the worst in our area in terms of the winds. We have the landfalling hurricane likely just to your south. So you're going to be on that northern end where we're going to see the strongest storm. So when can we expect it to be at its worst? Probably in that period between midnight to 4, maybe even 5 a.m. when the strongest winds will be felt. And we could have gusts up to 85 miles per hour. You saw the gust there in Melbourne. It was sitting under 40 miles per hour. We're going to see those winds going up as the storm makes landfall. Rain-wise, 3 to 6 inches of rain, but coastal erosion, a big issue with this, expecting 5 feet of storm surge, all this water being pushed ashore and just relentless with this storm. Farther inland, areas like Orange County, what we're expecting, it's going to be right overhead. Brooks and I were looking at the models, and most models have this storm pretty much right over parts of Osceola County, Orange County, and then moving to the northwest. So we're going to get some strong wind gusts, possibly up to 75 mile per hour wind gusts. That would be hurricane force winds. And that is going to be probably the bigger impact. Would not be surprised to see a number of power outages with that. Rainfall 3 to 6 inches. But the winds, Brooks, are going to be a big issue with the storm across much of our area.
Yeah, Ian, absolutely right. So we're going to see things getting a lot worse. So right now, if you're in a bit of a lull, don't think, oh, goodness, this was nothing. What are they talking about? It is about to get bad. And let's take a look at it. Our Fox model does a great job illustrating this. Notice how these rings, see these white rings? This is the bad stuff, and it's hanging offshore right now. Soon it won't be hanging offshore. It'll be right onshore. Melbourne catching wind gusts at 3 in the morning of hurricane force or higher. In fact, we could see a couple of spots like Grant Valcaria, the Mico area, 85-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I mean, this is the real deal. This is a legitimate hurricane coming in. But I know as a native Floridian or as one who's been here for a long time, you're probably thinking, this is just a Cat 1. We've seen them before. We'll see them again. And you're right. They are more common as far as hurricanes go. But this one's different because it was born a subtropical storm and has a much larger wind field. The impacts on the coast will be much greater with this fetch of wind coming in during a time of high tide tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That's the next high tide with a 5-foot storm surge and astronomically higher than normal tides of 1 to 2 feet. We're going to see inundation in places that are below 7 feet sea level in a lot of spots from Flagler Beach all the way down through Brevard County. That's going to mean a lot of structures that are teetering on the edge could be, or as some officials say, will be undermined, quite literally falling into the sea. This is a big deal, and no doubt the legacy of Nicole will be the damage along the coast brought on initially by Hurricane Ian a month and a half, laying the groundwork, taking out the dunes, leaving an open wound on our beaches for the next assault to take us out here. Inland, the impacts will be considerably less. However, when you're talking about hurricane force wind gusts in Orange County and over the attractions, that is power outage city. We're talking a system coming in from the southeast instead of from the southwest. Ian came in from the Gulf. This comes in from the Atlantic. Naturally, that's a different wind direction. So trees that were stressed in one direction with Ian will be stressed in a different direction with this one. That's going to be a problem. If there's any good news, it's moving. And that means we're not going to see the catastrophic inland flooding from torrential rains. Ian dropped 15 or 20 inches of rain. This one's going to drop 3 to 6 inches of rain. That said, we are now just entering the danger zone with this system as it comes ashore, and we'll track it for you right here live in the Fox 35 Storm Center. Thanks for sticking with us, and stay with us. We'll be right back after this break for more continuing coverage of Hurricane Nicole.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
The most common weather myth that I often hear is lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. It does. Look no further than the World Trade Center or the Empire State Building. Lightning can strike the same place twice, sometimes during the same storm. Every single day, we're learning something new, we're learning something different, and it helps us become more accurate. What I love about being a meteorologist is you are literally saving lives. It's humbling. Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue.
Sometimes we want people to say things to us and they're just not able to say it. They're just not there. They're not built that way. But just because the people you want to hear it from won't say it, doesn't mean you'll never get to hear it in your life. Life is going to send you all the words and all the voices and all the people you need to say the things your soul is desperate to hear. See, don't get mad when the people you love won't say it. You're going to hear it just from a place you never thought you would.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense. Nearly half of all Americans could be getting a boost to their credit scores. Paid medical debt is being wiped off of credit reports. And you now have a full year to pay medical bills before they can even show up on your credit report. And next year, debts under $500 will no longer be reported.
I'm Steve Noviello inviting you to click on Consumer. With the used car market so hot, many drivers are finding that they have equity in their lease. But when it comes time to buy your ride at the end of the lease term, to capture that cash, beware. Remember, the depreciated value was determined likely before any inventory shortage and is part of the contract. Make sure the dealership honors that price and doesn't try and spike it with fees or financing rules. Spend smarter, live better, right here.
All right, Stu, here's my gift to you. Download the Fox Sports app. You stream every match live from Fox and FS1. Just got to have a paid TV subscription.
Sensational! Well, that's your gift. I got one for you.
Is it a soccer ball?
How'd you know?
welcome back to our continuing coverage. Check out this flooding from in Seminole County earlier today.
Yeah, that area is still flooded from Hurricane Ian, and now Nicole is on the way. Fox 35's Christy Kern was out there talking to people in that neighborhood.
The rain is starting to come down in Geneva, and this is on Whitcomb Drive. The rain is already flooding this already flooded street that's been like this since Hurricane Ian more than a month ago. This is all coming from Lake Harney, which is just down the road here. The waves there starting to pick up speed, and the water is making its way onto the road that, again, is already flooded. This is just the beginning for this area, but people who live here say it's not just the beginning for them. These homes were devastated by Hurricane Ian more than a month ago. There are not a lot of people around here, but I did speak with one woman who was out walking her dog. She says she and her family just got back into their home just last week after it was flooded out for more than a month from Hurricane Ian. She says they're not really sure what their plan is for this storm.
We are still kind of in denial that we're going to have to go through this again. So last time we lost power, water, and septic, so we had to move out. So this time we're not sure if our water is going to hold. So if we just lose power, then we'll probably stay as long as we can.
That woman I spoke with says she's not just concerned about the rain adding to the flooding in this area. She's also concerned about the wind because she says she has a lot of debris in her yard and she's worried about the wind picking that up and blowing it all around. Reporting in Geneva, Christy Kern, Fox 35 News.
Christy, thank you. We are a very close eye on Hurricane Nicole. The Fox 35 Storm Team Thunder Truck is driving up and down the coast, showing us the conditions ahead of that storm making landfall. You're watching Fox 35 News, and we're back with much more coverage after this.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Sometimes we want people to say things to us, and they're just not able to say it. They're just not there. They're not built that way. But just because the people you want to hear it from won't say it, doesn't mean you'll never get to hear it in your life. Life is going to send you all the words and all the voices and all the people you need to say the things your soul is desperate to hear. See, don't get mad when the people you love won't say it. You're going to hear it just from a place you never thought you would.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. A new study found that even moderate drinking can reduce the volume of your brain. Now, this isn't good and it can lead to a lot of problems. So everything in moderation. That's what my grandfather used to say. If you're going to drink, limit it and don't do it every day. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
Lumber prices are dropping in what's being called the Great Reset. Lumber futures fell 62% since January. Rising inflation rates, a cooling housing market, and a reduction in new home construction are all contributing factors. Now may be a good time to get an updated estimate on that new fence or deck you've had your eye on. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
There are two things that are very important to me. Family and community, both are very close to my heart.
Ryan Elijah, weekdays on Good Day Orlando.
I'm a dad and a journalist. You can depend on me.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Nicole, and the eye of the hurricane now just off the coast of Florida. The waves along the coast getting bigger and bigger, and that's where we're going to start tonight with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner and Ian Cassette.
So, guys, when can we expect Nicole to make landfall here in Florida?
3 hours from now, about 1 in the morning. That's when it looks like the landfall will happen. But with this storm, Ian and I have been looking at this all evening long in our team coverage. It's so big, it almost doesn't matter exactly where the landfall happens because it's going to cross the state and bring equal winds to just about everybody north of the track, which includes our entire viewing area. That said, Ian's going to do the radar in a second, talk about the latest update, but let's get to the nuts and bolts of this thing. We've been catching some of the first big wind gusts here. I just got a report from Katie Garner, our meteorologist reporter there in Daytona Beach, of a gust she estimates at 70 miles an hour. And that is totally possible, if not likely, because as this comes ashore, each squall will have highly localized, but locally just extreme gusts, and that's just the start of what's coming our way. As these bands make it ashore, as Ian will show you, we're going to see a rapid decline in conditions, deteriorating conditions on the beaches and inland. What's been a fairly easy go of things will become very less easy, much less easy, I should say. Easy for me to say. That said, 56 miles per hour, the latest wind gusts in Titusville, about 30 in Orlando, nothing we haven't seen before. This is a Category 1 hurricane, and that's what a lot of us are sort of banking on with this thing. The difference with this one compared to other Cat 1s is that it is large. The wind field goes out 600 miles. That's a lot of water being pulled ashore. The biggest legacy with Hurricane Nicole may not be the inland wind speeds or the rain. It's going to be the coastal impacts. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember a hurricane where there was almost, on the surface, it seems like careless talk about structures falling into the ocean. But I mean, this is from very reputable, very venerable officials that have been doing this many more years, in some cases, than I've been alive. I'm in my 40s. They know what they're talking about. And they're saying, you know what, here up in Volusia County, especially, we've got structures that like homes on the beach, Wilbur by the Sea, also some hotels that are on the edge. And with high tide coming tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., a 5-foot storm surge, high astronomical tides, winds coming ashore, driving those waves that could be over 15 feet in, we could be looking at some real problems. At the very least, our Fox model bringing this into either St. Lucie County or Indian River County at 1 a.m., and then from there working northward, parking around 5 or 6 in the morning over Osceola County and putting Orlando and the attractions in the northern eye wall, the worst part of this hurricane, which means that before the sun rises for a lot of us, we're going to see a real turn in conditions out there, going from kind of placid, if not kind of tropical, to at times kind of alarming. The good news is, as fast as this roars in, it's going to roar out, and we'll see conditions rapidly improving during the afternoon after this very surprising deterioration of conditions around our local coast here over the next several hours. The winds could easily gust as we head toward 3 in the morning, inside of 6 hours from now, over hurricane force, over 85, maybe 90 miles an hour in Brevard County, especially southern Brevard. And then those big gusts come inland to places like Kissimmee, to Orlando, to Sanford. That's going to knock out power. This storm's coming in from a totally different angle, coming in from the southeast than Hurricane Ian that came in from the Gulf. And so that's going to stress trees and other things that can blow around in ways that Ian did not challenge them. Ian provided a glancing blow to Brevard County. In this case, Nicole will be the full force of a hurricane for Brevard County. Ian Cassette, tracking the radar right now. Ian, we've been watching these outer bands because that's where the business end of this hurricane is, right?
Yep, we're going to see those winds you had mentioned, those squalls that we've had, and within these showers you get those strong winds, and we're going to have that here soon enough already, and we're looking at the strong squalls, or at least the heavy showers that are extending from the northern edge of the system. And look at this, we can see it. It's right here, and it is swirling, and it's going to be moving to the northwest, likely making landfall here in the next few hours. It's moving about 13 miles per hour, so that kind of puts it on pace to make landfall if it moves along this path into Indian River County, probably within the next 3 hours. But we are already seeing things deteriorate quickly. As I zoom in a little bit closer, look at these showers coming in. These are some heavy, heavy showers that are moving onshore, passing through Brevard County. So in Satellite Beach and Palm Bay, you are getting really heavy and windy showers, all this activity, and there is plenty more to come. Look at all this activity that is to your east. All of this is moving onshore, and this will only continue throughout the night. As the storm makes landfall, we will see this widespread rain move in, and those winds are going to go up, where we are going to be extremely worried, especially about the state of the beach. And when we were talking to some of those officials in Volusia County, they said that the beaches are in a critical condition, Brooke. Lift off from what we saw with Ian.
Yeah, Ian took out the dunes, and it's like an open wound, so this thing's coming in here like an infection. Yeah, it really is like that. Well, we've seen some power outages out there, about 2,500 of them so far in Brevard County, but otherwise we're relatively unscathed. That's going to change as this makes landfall overnight tonight as a Cat 1 and then roars through Central Florida tomorrow morning. Luann and John, the heart of this thing comes through Orlando between about 4 a.m. and 11 a.m. It'll be a little earlier at the beaches, obviously, being closer to the center of that circulation. But by tomorrow afternoon, it'll be a totally different day, things calming down very quickly.
All right, thanks a lot, Brooks. And that's why those mandatory evacuation orders are in effect right now, and that's for Volusia and Flagler counties. Volusia County has actually been under a curfew since 7 o'clock tonight, too, and that will be in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. In Flagler County, the sheriff's office tells everyone east of the Intracoastal Waterway to be out by this evening, if possible. And again, this is the reason why Volusia County officials want everyone living along the coast just to get out. This view right here shows the powerful waves destroying the seawall in Daytona Beach. We're seeing the same sort of thing up and down the coast right now, Luann.
Yeah, we want to get out to Fox 35's Valerie Boyce. She is joining us live in Daytona Beach shores. And Valerie, earlier tonight, you showed us deputies going door to door telling people to get out of their condo buildings because the sheriff says they could collapse.
Yeah, how scary is that? They're very concerned about these buildings collapsing. Right now I am Daytona Beach shores and law enforcement is out in full force. In fact, take a look over here. We have Port Orange police here outside the Pirates Cove condominium. Earlier this evening, I was on a water rescue truck. Take a look at this video. Deputies were going up and down streets, making sure no streets were flooding, making sure residents were safe. In fact, we talked to some residents earlier this evening. Take a listen to what they had to say.
This is kind of surreal. I come to the beach almost every weekend, and it's really sad to see what's happening, especially after Ian.
You can see the wind. So back here live, you could see the wind just blowing around here off of A1A. You can see it a little bit better in the headlights of the patrol cars. Of course, deputies want to remind everyone inside, stay safe. We're going to be keeping an eye on these buildings. So far, it looks okay, and again, a curfew takes place till 7 o'clock in the morning. Back to you guys.
All right, Valerie, thank you. And you can see in Valerie's live shot right there that strong winds are moving through Volusia County right now.
Yeah, and Fox 35's Christy Kern is a little bit south of that location. She's at the Port Orange Causeway, also called the Dunlawton Bridge. So, Christy, it looks like you're getting some of that as well.
Yeah, John, Luann, like you just said, we just switched locations since we last talked to you. We are now at the Port Orange Causeway. It has been closed to traffic since earlier tonight, and that's because it leads to Daytona Beach shores, where much of that area has been evacuated and deemed unsafe. Now, here where we're standing, this is the most rain that we've seen, really, since we've been out here. It just actually started to pick up just as you guys were about to talk to us. The wind, though, has also been picking up. We do have a wind speed gauge, and right now it's telling me it's just about around 10 miles per hour. Of course, we've seen this vary a lot since we've been out here. Just a couple minutes ago, it was close to 30 miles per hour. So that just shows you just how much it's changing. The Halifax River is right below us, and that's already starting to flood onto some nearby streets and some neighborhoods. And some people we talk to are leaving their homes, and some people are staying. It really depends on who you talk to. The people who are leaving are saying that after Hurricane Ian came through just more than a month ago, they're still recovering, so they're really not willing to chance it again at this point. So, of course, we'll be out here, we'll be monitoring the situation, and we'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Live tonight, Christy Kern, Fox 35 News.
All right, Christy, thank you so much. And the storm surge also starting to come in around Flagler County tonight.
Yeah, wind and waves have really started to escalate at Flagler Beach. Fox 35's Connor Hansen is joining us live from there tonight. So, Connor, you're in the dark. I know the pier is behind you. How's it holding up?
Well, and we're doing our best to keep that thing lit up. We've got one of our strongest lights shining out on that pier, and we've been out here all night now, and it does seem like the wind is picking up even more, and that's contributing to some of those big waves. And again, as I've mentioned, that pier is about 20 feet tall, if that gives you any idea of how high these waves are coming in. Some look like they're about halfway up that. And when you look out at the ocean, you really only see white. That just shows how much the ocean is just churning right now. And the thing is, high tide happened at 8:30. That's a couple hours ago now, and it's going to be going out till 2 a.m. But it really doesn't seem like the water has really gone down much. We're still seeing it come all the way up to the edge of basically where the sidewalk is, splashing up above it. You can see another huge one just crashing down right now, and it's tough to see the very end of that pier because the farther you go out, the darker it is, but there are pieces of it just kind of dangling. After Hurricane Ian, the pier was left badly damaged, and they do plan to replace it. It's been closed ever since then. The big question now is, will this storm finally do it in? Right now, it's been closed. They're not letting anybody out on that pier. There's actually police officers here to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, the sheriff's office also put out a warning earlier today telling people not to come out here to the barrier islands to come take pictures, do stuff like that. We still have seen a lot of people doing that, but it's calmed down in the past hour or so. It's very quiet out here. Not a lot of people on the roads on A1A where we're standing, which is a good thing because just a little bit south of here, they have part of the road closed because of so much erosion that, again, started with Ian washing out the sand and the rock underneath the road. There's a detour, though, to get around that. On the other side of the barrier island by the intercoastal, we are seeing flooding on some of those roads, closing them down in communities. Some people starting to see water approaching their homes. Now, going back to the people out here, one thing to note, police here told us they actually got a call. 2 guys were out swimming in the ocean, looking just like this. Obviously extremely unsafe. They're out here to prevent anyone else from doing that. Reporting live in Flagler Beach, Connor Hansen, Fox 35 News.
Connor, thank you. Well, check out this time lapse. We had a camera rolling for hours as storm clouds moved over Melbourne. We'll have much more on this video coming up.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free. Like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer. So let's see some hustle.
My favorite weather term is virga. It's when you see rain in the distance falling from the cloud, but at the surface, the very lower levels of the surface, it actually evaporates. What's really cool is being able to see how the atmosphere changes through the different levels of the atmosphere. And actually, the Fox Weather app will allow you to do that. You can actually see a cross section of the storm. Cool to see that for yourself on radar.
Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense. Walmart.com is now offering Walmart Restored. We're talking refurbished computers, cell phones, video games, cameras, TVs, and appliances. Walmart says they're all inspected and tested and come with a 90-day return policy.
The latest way to pay? By Palm. Amazon's palm reading technology program is being rolled out in dozens of Whole Foods stores. Shoppers will have to link their palm and their payment card to the service, then hover their hand over the scanner. No longer will you have to pull out your phone for contactless payment, which ironically is likely already in the palm of your hand. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
All right, take a look at this time-lapse video. It shows just how quickly things deteriorated this afternoon. One of our Fox 35 photojournalists set up his camera and recorded this from the roof in Melbourne. That's scary enough that we had to be up on the roof in Melbourne. You can see the choppy waves out there on the right-hand side, the dark storm clouds making their way on shore. Pretty ominous scene out there, and then it started getting darker, and yeah, that's when it gets a little scary out there. And people throughout Central Florida are watching this storm, and they're still recovering, by the way, from Hurricane Ian. That's the problem.
Yeah, and we all know that the Orlo Vista area in Orange County was hit really hard with flooding during Ian. And Fox 35's Adam Shadoff spoke with one woman there who was worried about living through that nightmare again.
It is a very nervous night here in Orla Vista at Janae Buford Johnson's house, because when you walk inside, the place is a total loss, devastating damage to this home after Hurricane Ian.
It's the hardest thing in the world to walk in here, to not have anything that I know or familiar with intact anymore. Everything is gone. There's nothing that can describe it. I have no words that puts that in perspective for me. This is total. There's nothing you can do with this. The water's all the way up, you know, and it's moldy, and the only thing that's safe on this house is the roof.
And now with this storm, Janae worries that the storm water could come up again, do the same thing as last time, and ruin any chance she has of saving this house whatsoever.
If it floods this neighborhood again, this house is done. I think the foundation is going to finally just continue to break open, because it's already some damage underneath here, and it's not dried underneath the house. I feel like I'm in a nightmare that just won't end. There's not going to be enough money to do anything. I'm hearing different stories about FEMA not going to help us again. You know, people say oh, you can get it back. No, it's not that easy to just get. You can't get back 50, 60, 70 years of stuff. You know, my mom died 20 years ago, almost 19 years ago, October the 6th, during the same time. So, and her biggest holiday was Thanksgiving. And this is the hardest because we would do everything here. So it's not easy.
Janae is hoping her house survives tonight and this storm, and then she can get back to trying to salvage what's left, going through the insurance process, and trying to rebuild her home. In Orla Vista, I'm Adam Shadoff, Fox 35 News.
Thanks a lot, Adam. And we're nearing the point where Hurricane Nicole is getting very close to Florida shores right now.
Yeah, let's check in with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner and Ian Cassette. We are about, an hour and a half or so away from landfall now?
Yeah, and it's starting to get real. You know, we're looking at some of the social media posts from folks that are on the ground in Fort Pierce and down toward Deerfield Beach, and it's really looking bad. So,
the water's dangerous. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. It's sort of like the canary in the coal mine, where you see what's going down there and you see what's coming our way inside of 2 hours. Big breaking waves on the beach. Deerfield Pier right now, if you know that area, they've got a really good webcam up there. They've got like a live YouTube page. I don't know if it's still streaming, but man.
It won't be streaming for much longer,
quite a sight. Yeah, it may not even be there. That is the pier. That said, the hurricane's full force is coming on shore. Let's take a look at the latest on this. This is Hurricane Nicole. It's only a Cat 1, and I say that with just a hint of jest, not to trivialize it, but because a lot of folks have been saying, listen, this is only a Cat 1, and we're going to ride it out, and that's fine. Seasoned Floridians, that's what we do. But the difference with this storm compared to other storms, and let me really say something quickly. Obviously, if your local officials say evacuate, you got to follow those orders. So I'm definitely not encouraging you to ride it out, even if it's Cat 1. But my point here is that even though this is just a Cat 1, unfortunately the wind field is so big with this that the wave action, the storm surge, the push of the sea is going to mimic a much larger hurricane. So if you're on a barrier island and you see the waters come up, don't be surprised at this point if you chose to stay. I hope it is safe for you. Hopefully this is just isolated stuff when we're seeing the really extreme damage. But we've had pretty dire warnings from officials talking about structures on the beach that that could be destroyed essentially as the water gets under the structures and they collapse under the sea. Hurricane Ian knocked out a bunch of the protective dunes, and now it's just a big opened wound as this storm barrels in. Now, the landfall happens around 1 a.m. near Fort Pierce and then zips up through Polk County, but it's such a big storm, such a big wind maker that even though Orlando may be south of the center of circulation, and let me say it may be south, there's still a chance it comes right up through Orlando. Regardless, Orlando catches the full force of this. Let me give you an example. This is future radar. We're going to see around 2:15 in the morning, big bands of rain. And I want you to follow with me. This northern eye wall band that'll be in Melbourne about 2 in the morning, that's going to produce the big winds, the big storm surge that rolls up through Cape Canaveral. Winds gusting up to 90 miles an hour possible, even out toward Kennedy Space Center, even up through Titusville. And then by 4:15 in the morning, we're going to see those big winds across places like Bithlo and Christmas in Orange County, and then working into Orlando and to Seminole County by 5:15 in the morning. It'll be around 6 a.m. that Sanford, DeLand, all the way up through to Tavares, Eustis, places like that get hammered by the 60 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts. Then by 6:30, the center circulation parked over St. Cloud means that band will then work toward the Villages and Wildwood. And so by 7:45, 8 a.m., that band will then head toward Lecanto, Cedar Key, and Horseshoe Beach, and the system itself will rapidly wind down. But it's that northern eye wall where we're going to see the most extreme weather as far as the hurricane force wind gusts that will no doubt knock out power for a time in a lot of communities. But the takeaway with this thing, the legacy of Nicole by far will be the coastal damage, and it's damage we won't realize until the sun comes up tomorrow so we can get a look at it. But the bottom line is, if this is a normal tide, we're going to see the tide rising some 5 to 7 feet higher than normal, a 7-foot storm surge combined with astronomically high tides, and then the big wave action pushing ashore, undermining the integrity of a lot of the structures, the homes that are right on the beach there. A lot of homes in a place like Wilbur by the Sea, for instance, in Volusia County. But check out future wind gusts with the Fox model. As this barrels in, we could see gusts 80, 90 miles an hour through Brevard County and Osceola County, and then 60 to 75 miles per hour through Orange County. So it's happening right now, and meteorologist Ian Cassette is tracking the radar using Fox 35 Storm Tracker radar. Ian, it's in the yellows and reds on the radar that the biggest gusts are happening, right?
Yeah, but we're seeing the winds mix down the surface within these showers, and that is where you'll get these strong gusts from the storm. And we are looking at those heavy showers that are moving onshore. I would not be surprised to see some 50-plus mile per hour wind gusts right now, as all of this is tracking on, this is all of the activity on the northern side of this storm moving into Brevard County right now. So let's look a little bit closer at things. If you're in Satellite Beach right now, you're getting hit pretty hard. We have some of that heavy rain currently drifting quickly from east to west, and farther south, Indian Harbor Beach also getting that heavy rain. Melbourne, you're going to be soon getting the rain because look how quickly this is going across from east to west, and then farther south down to Malabar as well, getting the heaviest rain. So we're seeing all this activity because we are looking at the storm that is moving closer and closer. All of this giant shield of rain, this is all what is going to be moving in as we go on throughout the night, and all of this also has those strong winds, the tropical storm force winds, and soon enough, the hurricane force winds, which we're expecting within the next couple of hours, probably.
Yeah, bottom line, things are somewhat bad now, but they're going to get really bad a little bit later. So just hang on to your hat here, quite literally. It looks like the worst of this is coming through on the beaches starting around midnight, but especially to 3, 4 in the morning. This storm is about 625 miles wide as far as its tropical storm force winds go. The hurricane force winds are much smaller but still sizable, with hurricane force gusts through Melbourne right on through about 3 in the morning, and then working right up into the Orlando area before finally it starts to weaken. But yeah, I mean, some of us are kind of thinking, well, you know, so far it's just rain. What's going on here? When is the worst of this coming our way? But rest assured, for better or for worse, this will get bad. Big tide's coming up. Next tide is tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We're going to have the storm surge, the astronomically high tide, and we're going to have waves that could eclipse 15 feet coming up ashore during high tide. That's going to be the real test tomorrow, guys, from New Smyrna Beach all the way south through Jensen Beach. It's getting pretty bad out there to the south, and that's coming up our way in a matter of hours.
Yep, Brooks, and we're not going anywhere. We're staying here throughout the night. Our continuing coverage of Hurricane Nicole continues all night long right here on Fox 35. And by the way, be sure to download the Fox 35 Storm Team Weather app so you can track the hurricane right along with our meteorologists. And also, you can follow the newscast and get updates if you lose power.
All right, looks like Hurricane Nicole could make landfall in Indian River County, and that's where we find Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell. She's live in Vero Beach right now.
So, Brandy, it looks like the winds are starting to pick up there.
Yeah, the winds, they've been consistent here and definitely picking up as the storm gets closer. Now, our forecast center tells me that the eye wall is about 50 miles from where I am. So it's not going to take long until the storm gets to us. And the wind, like you said, is picking up. A wind gust of 58 miles per hour was actually recorded at the local airport here. And I've been taking out my anemometer every now and then, getting them, or the wind speeds in the 20s. But, you know, like right now we're getting a gust. And it's definitely, if you're standing out here making the rain pelt on you a little bit, you might want to stand your ground. Thankfully, we're kind of standing in between some bushes, kind of breaking the wind a little bit in this area, but we are standing along the coast. And so it's dark, obviously, but if you guys can see, there's the waves out there. Oh my God, they're humongous. They're really big, and especially as the storm gets closer to us, they're getting taller, breaking taller as well. Thankfully, haven't seen as many people out. We're not really in a very public area as well. But I know earlier today, it was a lot of people out watching, and the later it got, saw a lot less people. So that is good news. They're definitely advising people to stay in place for now. And obviously, just be prepared because there could be power outages. So have the flashlights and hopefully already have those snacks just in case if you might need them. All right, but we're going to keep an eye on conditions here. We can see the rain is starting to pick up right now while we're live. And again, that wind not going anywhere. Guys.
Brandy, thank you for that update.
All right, I'll take this very quickly. Luann, I want to show you something before we go here. This is the camera over in New Smyrna Beach, and you can see the waves coming in right here. We're going to take this full in just a second, but this light right here, that's about where Breakers is. Guys, go ahead and take it live right now so you can see exactly how big these waves are getting and crashing into the seawall. So once again, you can see the surface all the way up there on Breakers right now, crashing over onto where the that park is. They've got some significant erosion taking place in New Smyrna Beach, so we're giving you these looks at these cameras all across Central Florida, so you know exactly what's happening in all these areas up and down the East Coast.
All right, John, thank you. And you can find everything you need to know about this storm on our website. Just go to fox35orlando.com. We have all the closings there, the latest track. You can also get alerts sent right to your phone by downloading the Fox 35 News app. Much more coverage of tracking Hurricane Nicole after the break.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
My favorite weather term is virga. It's when you see rain in the distance falling from the cloud, but at the surface, the very lower levels of the surface, it actually evaporates. What's really cool is being able to see how the atmosphere changes through the different levels of the atmosphere. And actually, the Fox Weather app will allow you to do that. You can actually see a cross section of the storm. Cool to see that for yourself on radar.
Are you leaving money on the table when you shop at Amazon? It seems a huge number of Amazon shoppers have no idea about the website's coupon section. Just click to clip. Some of the savings can be up to 30 or even 40%. You can even search coupons by brand. The best part, unlike Subscribe and Save, there is no commitment. Amazon coupons can be used for one-time purchases. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Sometimes we want people to say things to us, and they're just not able to say it. They're just not there. They're not built that way. But just because the people you want to hear it from won't say it, doesn't mean you'll never get to hear it in your life. Life is going to send you all the words and all the voices and all the people you need to say the things your soul is desperate to hear. See, don't get mad when the people you love won't say it. You're going to hear it just from a place you never thought you would.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. You seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
Welcome back. We have been talking about evacuations in Volusia County all night. In New Smyrna Beach, the city deemed 2 condo buildings unsafe. We're talking about these 2 oceanfront buildings at the Las Brisas condominiums right on Hill Street. Officials say the dune is washing up within 10 feet of those structures. We highlighted the 2 buildings here for you. New Smyrna Beach police helped residents evacuate those 2 buildings.
Yeah, Luann, that was that video we were looking at. Somebody posted one on social media kind of out in that area. It's right, you can see right where the sand is. The water's just smacking up against that right now. That's kind of scary in that area.
It's very scary, and it's not just happening in New Smyrna Beach either, John. It's like all the way up and down the coast. We are seeing the seas higher than I've ever seen them before.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to Ian washing it away. And so, yeah, up and down. This thing's going to make landfall in like an hour and a half right now. That's when it's going to get really intense. So we'll start seeing more videos coming in very soon on this.
Yep. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologists Brooks Garner and Ian Cassette are both back with us tonight.
All right, so guys, it's just off the coast at this point. So when are we really start feeling the impacts, Brooks, especially in the metro area here in Orlando?
Well, here in Orlando, we're going to start feeling those impacts between about 4 and 5 a.m., and it'll be an undeniable thing. You're going to see the winds whipping, power will probably go out. But Ian and I have been tracking just the worst of this. You know, we've had a lot of this kind of preamble with the squally showers and the winds to 50 and 60, but the real meat of this Category 1, which means business, is currently approaching the southeast coast near Fort Pierce and Jensen Beach. We've been seeing some pretty amazing videos there out of Deerfield Beach, the pier there in jeopardy.
Some very strong wind gusts already, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts along the southeast Florida coast.
Right, and that's out ahead of this thing. Let's get the latest on where it is and where it's going. It's got winds of 75 miles an hour. It's located about 35 miles offshore at this point, and it's making a beeline for Fort Pierce. It looks like at this point, maybe to southern Brevard County. Category 1 is the forecasted landfall, but it's coming in at a rate of speed around 13 to 15 miles an hour. So you can tack that on to the top wind speed to estimate some of your gusts here on the beach. So as it makes landfall with about 75 mile per hour winds, you can round up and say, hey, we could have 85 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts. That's a possibility here in Brevard County around between 1 and 3 a.m. So this is the real deal. That's real hurricane wind. And as far as the surge goes, because this is such a big system, and this has been the big legacy we're expecting with Hurricane Nicole, is the beach impacts. As Ian scoured away the dunes, and there's just nothing left to block the water, it surges in. We've got a high tide tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and so that combined with these big winds is just going to force the water ashore. Now, we've been showing you this. This is sort of an hour-by-hour type graphic showing you the position of Ian at certain times. This is at 2:30 in the morning. We're going to have that onshore flow in Melbourne. I want you to follow this northern eye wall right here. This will be the worst of the weather. Of course, we'll be seeing some rain out ahead of it like we're getting now. But as far as the real hurricane, this is going to be the part of the system that does the damage. And it comes in pretty fast. We're talking about maybe in your location as it passes through for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It'll be like a very extended severe thunderstorm, essentially, especially with the wind gusts past 70 miles an hour. At 4:30 in the morning, that eye wall will run from Titusville through Orlando and down toward Fort Meade and Polk County, then work northward into Sanford by 5:30 in the morning. So it's going to go from kind of this placid, at times gusty, kind of rainy to full-on hurricane for us here in Sanford around 5 to 6 in the morning, all the way down through Groveland. And then that'll work westward into the Villages, Tavares, Wildwood, the Eustis area, down into places like Hernando and Citrus counties, and then eventually up toward Ocala as we get into 8 in the morning with another sort of eye wall-ish feature, sort of a band coming over Orlando again for another round of some wind gusts over 65 miles an hour before things wind down. Things will get better tomorrow at the coastline after 10 a.m. Things will get better in Orlando after about noon. So after that, it's still going to be looking bad out there, but conditions will be improving. It's just that right now we've got a rapid deterioration afoot, and it's not been terrible. I mean, this is something that we can work with, but it's about to get a lot worse. And one of the reasons is that as the tide comes up at 9 in the morning, it'll coincide with that onshore flow really coming in. Seas about 5 to 7 feet higher than normal with the storm surge and the astronomically high tides, and a forecast for a wind that'll be pushing directly on shore. And that'll really do some damage as far as major coastal erosion and possible loss of beach structures, homes on the beach, buildings on the beach that are already teetering on the edge. That said, all this wind we've been talking about is coming in. I've been showing you the models, the forecast. So for what's going on right now, let's go to meteorologist Ian Cassette. Ian, on Fox 35 Storm Tracker radar, we can see the eye wall. We can see where the real heart of this hurricane is. How far is that now from communities in our viewing area?
It is not far at all. I mean, we're talking about less than 50 miles for it making landfall. And so it is moving quickly to the northwest, and extending ahead of that storm is the outer bands, the heavy rain that we've had moving through, that these embedded showers have had gusts of those 50, 60 mile per hour winds. So looking at things right now, here is the heaviest rain. Currently, it is moving to the west and it is moving onshore onto parts of Brevard County, an area that we are expecting likely the strongest winds and the highest or strongest winds reported in our area when everything is said and done, and it will most likely be Brevard County. So we do have this activity moving in right now. This is where the heaviest rain is. There is the eye wall right here. So it is moving to the northwest and will soon be making landfall likely to our south and then bringing the heaviest rains as it continues to move to the northwest. Farther northwest, we're still seeing those showers in parts of central Florida here and the greater Orlando area. Some of that scattered activity now making it up to Marion County, which you haven't really had a whole lot of rain so far. But over the course of the night and into tomorrow morning, we will see it deteriorating from southeast to northwest across our area with the path of the storm. And Brooks, we are really going to be watching for those winds over the course of the night, power outages, and there are going to be many impacts over our area.
Yeah. And naturally, a lot of folks are trying to compare this to Ian because Hurricane Ian just happened a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago, and now we've got another one. This is unprecedented on so many levels. I mean, you got to go back to about 2004 when you had the back-to-back hurricanes, right? We had we had Charlie, then Francis, Jean. With this one, this is 2 hurricanes within 2 months. This one especially, though, is pretty wide. And I was talking about unprecedented. To get a hurricane this late in November, especially coming from the Atlantic coast, we've never seen that. Last time we had a hurricane in November was Kate back in 1985. It came from the Gulf. But this width of storm, which is about 2 to 3 times bigger than a typical tropical system, because it was born a subtropical system, that means it's got a lot more power coming from the ocean. So it's only a Cat 5, but it's going to punch way above its weight class. Luann and John, back to you.
All right, thank you, guys. Well, Fox 35's Valerie Boy still covering the evacuations and all the rescues taking place in Volusia County.
Yeah, she's been busy all day long out there. She is joining us live right now after riding along with rescue crews. So, Valerie, did they see anything, any flooding, any people in need of help?
No, not yet. So that's good news. I'm here at Pirates Cove Condos, where you could see here this building has been deemed unsafe. The police officer just put that up a few hours ago. In fact, 12 buildings here on Daytona Beach shores have been deemed unsafe because of the seawall. And 22 buildings over in Wilbur by the Sea have also been deemed unsafe. And so because of all these structures, on the verge of possible collapse, law enforcement officers have been going through making sure residents are staying safe. Earlier this evening, we are actually on a water rescue truck going up and down the streets. Deputies say they were looking for flooding and any other residents that may need help, but so far it's been pretty quiet, so that is good news. Of course, the curfew takes place till 7 o'clock in the morning. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Val. Talk to you in just a little bit. Let's take a live look at some of our cameras all across Florida right now, showing the conditions. That's ahead of Hurricane Nicole's arrival. And you can see a lot of rain coming down all across the area. Not too much to see in these particular cameras, but trust us, it's getting breezy along the coast as the eye is getting ready to make landfall. We'll be right back.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Inflation has caused consumers to tap the brakes on certain new purchases, among them cars. 37% of respondents to a survey say they are holding off on buying a new vehicle. Vacations, pet grooming, and furniture are also on the chopping block, but there may be better days ahead. Many home stores are suddenly seeing an influx of deliveries, causing them to drop prices and even sell first-run merchandise in their outlet stores. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue. Little Theo's nose had cause for alarm. Ordinary tissues were causing it harm. They left his nose raw with each wiping motion. So Dad extinguished the problem with Puffs plus lotion. Puffs have up to 50% more lotion to soothe your blows, bringing relief to your sore nose. Don't get burned by ordinary tissues. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue.
My favorite weather term is virga. It's when you see rain in the distance falling from the cloud, but at the surface, the very lower levels of the surface, it actually evaporates. What's really cool is being able to see how the atmosphere changes through the different levels of the atmosphere. And actually, the Fox Weather app will allow you to do that. You can actually see a cross section of the storm. Cool to see that for yourself on radar.
Welcome back. One of the places being hit hard right now with erosion damage is Wilbur by the Sea, which is right near Daytona Beach in Volusia County. Just look at this house. This was from earlier today, and you can see this house is teetering on the edge. It's probably going to end up in the ocean. Fox 35's Vicky Carr was there just before the sun went down.
And people there are supposed to leave, but they tell Vicky a lot of them aren't going anywhere.
I'm at a home in Wilbur by the Sea, and I want to show you what the backyard looks like here. You can see the ocean has swallowed up the entire backyard. I was talking to the property managers here, and they tell me that Ian took a chunk of this, and now this morning, Tropical Storm Nicole took the rest of it. Right now, they're in the process of removing everything from inside of the home. The homeowner has evacuated. The property managers are here with their staff, removing as much of the stuff inside of the home that they can. Take a listen to what they said.
When we were here yesterday, there was 30 feet more of the backyard, but it was collapsing as we were moving him out today. So we've pushed everything back just to do what we can.
Take another look here at the backyard, just how dramatic this is. And they told me a lot of this happened this morning. They tell me it's been scarier as the day goes on. So again, they're trying to get everything out of the home. I asked them if they think all of the people that live here in this area, this is Wilbur by the Sea, have evacuated, and they said they sure hope so. Reporting in Wilbur by the Sea, Vicky Carr, Fox 35 News.
And Hurricane Nicole hasn't officially made landfall yet, so it's really too soon to talk about recovery.
Yeah, but the good news is FEMA is already here in force because of Hurricane Ian.
We have over 2,500 FEMA staff in the state at the moment, and they are ready to also transition over to any response and recovery that is needed for the Hurricane Nicole operation. This could include disaster survivor assistance teams that will canvass neighborhoods and register individuals and families for FEMA assistance. We can bring in hundreds of staff very quickly, and we have multiple disasters that are operating all over the country right now. We always seem to meet the challenge, and we always have staff that are willing to help.
Yeah, it's good that the staff is already on the ground, so after the storm passes, they'll be here to help with any recovery that's needed. And the Fox 35 storm team will continue to work around the clock tracking Hurricane Nicole. Our Fox 35 storm team meteorologists are here, and crews out in the field are all tweeting out the latest information and video. Just search Fox 35 Orlando on Twitter, and then make sure you follow that account.
This week week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Everybody always asks me about failure. Dr. Sean, what should I do with failure? And what I tell people is that great people fail all the time. Michael Jordan failed, Barack Obama failed, Oprah Winfrey failed. All of them have major failures. You see, the issue isn't getting over failure. It's learning from the failure you've had to deal with. Learn from failure. Let it be your teacher. Let it be the thing that instructs you on how to do it differently, because the moment you grow will also be the moment you stop having to fail.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
To get the most out of your cell phone battery, consider shallow charging. Instead of draining your battery to zero, recharge at 50%. When you charge it up, stop at about 90%. Once a month, you should run it down to 5% and recharge so it can recalibrate its self-assessment. When charging is done, remove your phone from the charger. Electronics will age faster if they're left plugged in when fully charged. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
Dear Santa, I know I asked for a lot last year, but this year is different. All I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. This is the team that's going to make a run. All we have to do is believe. That's like your whole thing. Have you seen this?
There's more.
Believe.
Hey, it's Dr. Mike. A new study found that even moderate drinking can reduce the volume of your brain. Now, this isn't good and it can lead to a lot of problems. So everything in moderation. That's what my grandfather used to say. If you're going to drink, limit it and don't do it every day. I'm Dr. Mike Sirigliano with the Fox Medical Team.
Welcome back. We want to get out to Fox 35's Christy Kern tonight.
Yeah, she's out in Volusia County right now monitoring the situation out there. So, Christy, what's the latest from where you are?
Well, Johnny, things are certainly getting a lot more intense as Nicole nears closer. This is at Riverwalk Park in Port Orange. And just take a look at this. The wind, the rain, it's really starting to pick up. Whoa. This is the Halifax River that is pushing itself up right onto the pavement here. This has been going on for quite a while since we got here, 10, 15 minutes ago or so. Whoa. All right, I lost my AirPod. It's winds right now, according to this wind speed gauge, is 31 miles per hour. At times it feels like a lot more than that. As you can see, there's really not anyone around here, which is a good thing. You can also see across the way here, that's Daytona Beach Shores. That's the area that a lot of people have been evacuated from, and that area has been deemed unsafe. And you can certainly see why. Again, winds the last time I just checked about 30 miles per hour, and things are just going to get worse here. So if that is not telling at all, it's a situation that we need to keep our eyes on, certainly. The wind, too, is just, it's so strong that the rain, when it starts to hit you, it's almost kind of painful. We, of course, stay out here. We're going to be monitoring the situation. We will check in with you guys in a little bit. Live in Port Orange tonight, Christy Kern, Fox 35 News.
It escalated there very quickly, too,
you can tell the winds are picking up. It's hard to hear her out there.
Oh, wow. Look at this one. Check out this new video just into the newsroom. Powerful wave destroying part of a pier. This was taken by one of the city of Deerfield's webcams. That, of course, down south towards Broward County. And big-time waves coming in right now as the eye is getting close to hitting the shore.
Yeah, we are about an hour and 15 minutes away from landfall. And they're probably pretty close to where this thing is going to come ashore. But, yeah, those are some bigger waves waves than we're seeing here in Central Florida right now, but that is probably what's coming our way. And our Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologists have been all over this storm today.
We have Ian here right now. Now, Ian, that area where Christy just was now, too, that area is normally, I guess, 4 or 5 feet above the water line.
Yeah.
And now the water's coming there. So we're seeing the storm surges up here, too. Not those kind of waves, though.
Yeah, all along the east coast of Florida right now, experiencing this storm surge from the storm. And it's only going to rise as we get closer and closer to the onset or arrival, really, of that storm making landfall. There's the eye wall, and that is to the east of Jupiter, Port St. Lucie. This is moving to the northwest, so we're not far away from landfall here, probably within the next hour or two. As it moves to the northwest, it's going to make its landfall probably somewhere along the coastline of Indian River to our south, but we're really already seeing these heavy showers that are moving onshore, running up from Indian River to Brevard County. So a closer look at the heaviest rain right now, and these are all squally showers. Every little area you see of yellow and red, that is that heavy downpour coming down with those winds in it, where we've had reports of 50, 60 mile per hour winds. So far, 63 mile per hour winds. We saw that reported around Cape Canaveral. So we have seen some stronger wind gusts even farther to the north up into the Cape. So this is all of the activity that will continue through the night. We're going to see the more widespread activity building in over the next few hours and then spreading to the northwest. So when we're talking about what we are looking at here, we are looking at the heavy rain, and we are getting those strong tropical storms to even close to hurricane force winds. Now let's look at our other source with what we are looking at with the timing of when we can expect things. Well, the onset of the worst will likely be about 1 in the morning, beginning across our area. Of course, this goes from the southwest to northeast. So if you are in, say, Marion County or Sumter County, the worst will not be 1 a.m. for you. That's going to be probably closer to sunrise early tomorrow morning. But for the Brevard County, for Volusia County, and also for maybe parts of Osceola County, it's going to be 1, 2 in the morning, with the peak of this being from 3 to 7 a.m. over parts of our area, running from the southwest again to the north, or rather southeast to the northwest, and then dissipating after 9 a.m. This is not going to be, Ian, where it's going to take its sweet time. This actually will quickly push through our area. So at least we are going to see a shorter window for this, but it's going to pack a punch because we are looking at the likelihood of hurricane force wind gusts over areas inland even. So if you are in parts of Lake County, if you are to the north, and you are in parts of even southern Marion County, you might get close to hurricane force gusts. More than likely tropical storm, but still very strong winds. So we will continue to see those winds picking up. Here's the latest with the path. The latest cone that came out at 11 p.m. This is going to be making landfall here soon enough, and likely making landfall somewhere along the Indian River coast, moving to the northwest around 7 a.m. It's pretty much going to be square over Polk County. That's going to bring the heaviest rain and winds into Orange County and over Brevard County all through the early morning hours, right around sunrise tomorrow, and then extending to the northwest quickly. So by late Thursday, it's already out. So we will have rapidly improving conditions just as quickly as they deteriorate tomorrow. Right now, we're looking at those wind gusts, and we're seeing some strong winds. Wow, look at this. This is actually new. 66 mile per hour. That's the strongest I've seen that has been least observed here so far. 66 mile per hour wind gusts in Titusville. We're up to 32 mile per hour wind gusts right now in Orlando. And this flow onshore is what is going to result in that coastal erosion. And when you look at these wave heights, 23 feet out there, 23 feet east of Florida, this is all moving onshore, and these large waves are breaking, and they're just attacking a coastline that was already vulnerable because of Hurricane Ian. And here we are with another system with a prolonged wind event that is going to lead to some big issues. You get winds of 70 to 85 miles per hour along Brevard coastline, the Cape. That's going to cause some long-lasting issues for the coastline. The winds will be picking up throughout the course of the night. By 7 a.m., we're likely looking at 50 to 60 mile per hour winds over central Florida. So Claremont, you could be seeing 67 mile per hour gusts. 7 a.m., right around sunrise. And then to the east, Sanford, 55 miles per hour. But once it moves to the northwest, we'll start to see those winds lighten up some. We're less than hurricane force gusts now in Melbourne at 10 a.m., and then steadily improving conditions throughout the course of the day. But this is going to be a long night. It's going to be long. We're going to have some very strong winds. And we're also going to get 3 to 6 inches of rain, so flooding could certainly be an issue, especially coastal flooding. We'll have more on news and weather, more coverage, extended coverage here coming up.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free. Like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
Connect with Flex, Fox Local Extension. Reach local viewers down to the zip. Across Flex and 150 plus premium partners. We connect the dots, plus serve up unique customer insights to help reach your goal. ConnectWithFlex.com.
There is a 50% chance that you are holding on to unused cash in the form of a gift card or stored credit. A new study from creditcards.com shows 47% of adults have at least one unused gift card with an average balance of $175. That's up from $116 last year. Better use them now. The unused value could go down due to rising inflation or, in extreme cases, a store closing. I'm Steve Noviello. That's my 2 cents. Spend it wisely.
I'm Heather Sullivan with Sullivan Smart Sense to cut down your water bill. Look for leaks like dripping faucets, running toilets, or even leaks from the dishwasher and get those fixed. You want to use that dishwasher, by the way. It actually uses less water than washing your dishes by hand. That's a good tip. And use a new flapper or a brick in your toilet tank. It'll use less water every time you flush.
Dear Santa, all I want is the U.S. to win the World Cup. You're the guy that makes reindeer fly. You can make anything happen. All you have to do is believe. I believe.
The most common weather myth that I often hear is lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. It does. Look no further than the World Trade Center or the Empire State Building. Lightning can strike the same place twice, sometimes during the same storm. Every single day, we're learning something new, we're learning something different, and it helps us become more accurate. What I love about being a meteorologist is you are literally saving lives. It's humbling.
There are 2 things that are very important to me. Family and community, both are very close to my heart.
Ryan Elijah, weekdays on Good Day Orlando.
I'm a dad and a journalist. You can depend on me.
Disney closed ahead of the storm. Tomorrow, the Magic Kingdom will reopen at noon and then close early at 6 o'clock. Epcot will open an hour later at 1 o'clock and close at 9. Animal Kingdom also opening on an abbreviated schedule from 1 to 7. And Hollywood Studios will reopen tomorrow afternoon at 2 and stay open until 10 p.m.
All right, haven't heard back from Universal Orlando yet about their plans for reopening. The park did shut down in phases today, and we expect it to reopen tomorrow at some point, but we don't know. They haven't made their new plan. Of course, they're probably waiting for the storm to go through. As soon as we hear anything new, of course, we'll pass it along to you and post it on the Fox 35 News app.
And precautions are in place at SeaWorld to make sure all of the animals there at that park will stay safe during the storm. The park says it plans to reopen on Friday, so it will be closed tomorrow. Customers who bought tickets for today and tomorrow will be able to use them any day through the rest of the year.
And Orlando International Airport is closed at this hour. Same situation in Sanford, Daytona, and Melbourne. All those airports are going to remain closed. Now, as soon as we get word on when the flights are going to resume, we'll let you know tomorrow morning as well, because we're going to have some big-time backups as they try and get everybody here and everybody who's here back home. So there's going to be some big-time delays.
Yeah, a live look right now at Flagler Beach. The waves are really ripping out there. That is a look at the pier, which was damaged during Hurricane Ian. It's hard to see, but the waves are really picking up. You can see all the white caps. I know Connor Hansen was out there earlier. He said the waves are nearly 20 feet in some areas. We have much more breaking coverage tracking Hurricane Nicole right after a quick break.